Stand up, all victims of oppression, for the tyrants fear your might. Don't cling so hard to your possessions, for you have nothing if you have no rights. So come, brothers and sisters, for the struggle carries on. Listening to Mike from PA unites the world in song. So come come and rally, for this is the time and place. Join the Central Committee and unite the human race. Break down the billionaire system. Bring down the bourgeoisie. To see the end of capitalism, we must set Luigi free. Demand that health care be provided, as well as housing and food security. We'll build high-speed rails and revolutions with heads of billionaires and solidarity. So come, brothers and sisters, through this struggle we'll carry on. Our gifts up to Central Committee is one step closer to righting the wrongs. So comrades, come and rally, and remember that Hush owes Mike $1,500 because Mike was fucking right. Mike was fucking right. Mike was fucking right.
Alrighty, folks, welcome on into the Central Committee stream with your host Mike from P. Oh, I forgot to reset my sub goal. Darn. Oops. How's everybody doing today? Welcome on in to the Central Committee stream with your host Mike from PA. Still recovering. My throat is still fucked. I think I may have been sick last week. I think it's still traumatically damaged. Plus, I've been talking a lot. You know how it goes. Welcome on in, everybody. Welcome into the Hasanabi refugees. And yeah, we don't know how long Hasan's banned for, unless he posted it somewhere. I would honestly, you know, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know, but I would say that I think the odds are that he's banned for at least a week, if not longer. But unless he's posted, it's only 3 days somewhere. Mike, my partner says Biden couldn't have done more about the student loans and that he got blocked by the courts. Is that true? The answer to that is basically the answer to that is your partner is wrong, but your partner is wrong because they don't understand that there is an authority in the law that actually grants the right of the government to provide student loans, to modify or cancel or whatever the loans as the Secretary of Education sees fit. And Joe Biden tried to use an authority in a COVID bill, not the authority in the authorizing bill. And that's what failed. The other cancellation was withdrawn by Trump. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. 13, 14, 15. Okay. We're starting out with 15 subs. Wow. Okay. Beautiful. And then of course, you know, when we talk about being blocked by the courts, we have to ask ourselves, is Donald Trump being blocked by the courts? And the answer is he's just ignoring them. And that's what the checks and balances are, chat. The check and balance for the judiciary is that the executive just simply doesn't enforce their ruling. Like that's really what it comes down to. Can we watch this? Yeah, we're gonna watch the Hasan get canceled video. I don't know if I want to watch it
to the White House
right off the jump. I'm more interested in talking about the stock market crashing. Sewer capitalism. What's the Supreme Court just weakened the Clean Water Act's limitation on raw sewage discharge into our water in a 5-4 ruling. Whee! Poop water. Mike, will you cover the address to Congress tonight with Hasan Band? We'll see how I feel. I'm probably going to be streaming long while he's gone. The reason being that, like, it's good for my channel to stream longer as the biggest leftist channel. And then it's also just I would be watching Hasan then, so I guess I'm gonna watch. We'll see. That's kind of late. Oh, it's 5 p.m. Eastern, right? Okay, we could definitely do that. 5 p.m. Eastern, we could definitely do that. I'm like really, I have to say, like, the vibes are bad because the world is fucked. You understand that, right? Like, the vibes are bad because Donald Trump is literally going to fuck your lives up. And a lot of you are young. And you don't really remember what it's like to have a recession as an adult. You don't really know. It's not, you know, a lot of people who right now think they're very secure are going to end up fucked. Were you really birthed by a sound system? That's a good, I don't know. I don't see how that joke hits. I don't know what that means. So let's keep going. China and Canada immediately retaliate against Trump's tariff. If you guys aren't paying attention, the stock market is eating shit. It's already dropped over 600 points on the Dow Jones, 255 points. We're down almost 10% from the peak of the market. The stonks crashing. The VIX is at 25, which is a measure of the volatility index. And when you see large spikes of the volatility index, let's look at the historical volatility index. You see how it spikes at this level is typically very early in recessions. There's been a couple times when the volatility has spiked this high, and there wasn't a recession. But as you can see, we are enjoying. You know, the last time it got up here was back in early 2022. Not looking good, folks. Stock market underpricing tariff risk. Oh boy. And China and Canada have immediately retaliated.
CNN's Elena Treen is there.
How long did this part of the stream usually last? At least 8 hours.
So much happening, Elena, in just the last few hours. Give us the latest.
That's right. Let's start with tariffs, John, because, look, this is something that the president had threatened to do. He was moving forward to do it more than a month ago, and now it is here. It's something that still, you know, even in the final hours yesterday, as they were leading up to this new deadline of this morning, people on Wall Street, people on Capitol Hill were still hoping, and certainly, of course, Ottawa and Beijing and Mexico City were hoping that the president wouldn't move forward with, but now he has. I'm just going to break down exactly what these tariffs are. One is that we know that he has implemented the 25% blanket tariffs on Canada and Mexico. Those took effect this morning. But then he also bumped up tariffs on China from 10% to 20%. And immediately, we've seen some of these countries retaliate with tariffs of their own. China, for example, retaliated by announcing 15% tariffs on chicken, wheat, corn, and cotton imports from the United States. They also announced a 10% tariff on soybeans, pork, beef, and other various goods. Canada, for their part, we heard Prime Minister Justin Trudeau say that they are going to have $30 billion or tariffs on $30 billion worth of U.S. goods, and that they would impose an additional $125 billion tariffs on American goods by March 25th. All to say, look, it's unclear how the markets are going to be impacted by this, but this is coming at a time when already you have a very inflation-weary Americans, many of whom do not want to be thrust into this trade war.
We've got Vanessa Yukevich connecting us this hour from...
Why did you link me this? Ethan Klein gets unreasonably mad that Hasan is hot. Let's look at the stock market crashing.
New York. Mark Stewart is in Beijing, and Paula Newton has reaction from Ottawa in Canada. Vanessa, let me start with you. Let's break down what we know about these tariffs first and foremost.
Well, certainly. We know now that there are tariffs in place on Canada and Mexico, 25% from all goods from Canada and Mexico coming into the United States, an additional 10% on goods coming in from China.
I think one of the things that I find really interesting about this is it doesn't seem to have any rhyme or reason, right? Tariffs are not necessarily always bad, and they're not necessarily always good. But this doesn't seem to have any plan or rhyme or strategic reason, and it seems untargeted, and it just seems to be damaging to the economy. It doesn't make sense. It's just like creating a recession button so you could push the recession button. If tariffs hurt people, why are China and Canada and China doing it? Because they're preventing a trade disadvantage. It's retaliation. Basically, the idea being that if you don't tariff American goods, then the United States will be able to take advantage of your market without correspondingly allowing your goods to be sold in its market, which creates trade deficits. And the thing is, with the United States in particular, since the United States is the global reserve currency, when there's a demand on dollars from China and Canada and Mexico that doesn't exist in the United States, because the United States can just produce more dollars because it's the creator of dollars. And so if you allowed a trade deficit to happen with the United States, it starts to create serious financial pressures within those countries and puts a tremendous amount of pressure on that currency's exchange rate. And it could severely damage their economy. I think most people would tell you that the retaliatory tariffs are not good for these countries. Like, it's not like it's going to help them. It's going to hurt them.
Into the U.S. right now. And this is critical because American consumers get a lot of things from these three major trading partners. Things like oil, food, electronics, and cars. And we can expect that prices on these key commodities will
Well, you just said not that many people understand or know about the global currency and how it could be used as an advantage for, I mean, that's the only reason why America is still the strong country, is that we have the financial system under our boot. And that the US dollar is the global reserve currency. What global reserve currency means is that basically other countries treat the US dollar like countries used to treat gold. This is what people don't understand. That's the biggest advantage that America has. And oftentimes like say when Brazil trades with China, they would settle that trade in dollars. Why the fuck is China and Brazil settling a trade in dollars? And that creates a massive demand for dollars overseas. So that increases the strength of the US dollar and therefore the wealth of everybody who has assets denominated in dollars. Oh, boy.
And we just learned moments ago that the president of Mexico...
My coworker told me yesterday that he dipped into his savings for his kid for a down payment on a new car he doesn't need because he is counting on the $5K Doge stimulus. You're trolling, right? You're trolling, right? This is the worst time to buy a car in history. I'm glad I have this car, my car, for another couple years. This is the worst time to buy a car ever. The interest rates are insane. The money factor on leases is insane. The sticker price of cars is insane. And it's only going to go up from here because they're putting tariffs on Mexico and Canada. Expect prices of cars to go up 25% because most of them are assembled in Mexico or Canada. And you know, in China, it's the best time to buy a car ever right now. Did you know that? In China, they're getting the best cars at extremely low and affordable prices. It's the best time to buy a car in China right now, ever. In America, it's the worst time to buy a car. Trump apparently had a phone call conversation with the ghost of the late Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. President Trump claimed he called the leader of Japan to complain about the low valuation of the yen. Prime Minister Ishiba says he received no phone call on the matter from Trump. One Japanese netizen responded with a meme of Shinzo Abe's ghost answering the phone. Oh no. Oh no. America is a laughingstock. But we're not just a laughingstock. We're actually pissing people off and damaging the global economy. And that's why the Great Recession happened, chat. The Great Recession happened and started in the United States. If the United States goes into recession, don't think you're safe if you're European or Japanese or South Korean. You're not. You're going to get just as fucked. Is it time for Chinese car propaganda?
If this car came to America, Tesla would be cooked. This competes against a Model Y. It's electric, but if I don't have time to charge, I can put gas in here and that'll power my generator under the hood to give me over 700 miles of range. You also get air suspension and LiDAR for self-driving. And to let others know it's driving itself, the side lights will turn blue. Pretty cool. Inside, you get pillows in your headrest, heated and ventilated seats that also massage you. My passenger screen also works super fast. My driver display works super fast. I get 2 wireless charging pads with a fan to cool off my phone. Storage space in there, more storage space under here. I get a driving display on my steering wheel, and my head-up display shows me my blind spots. You also get a built-in camera to take pictures, and it can even do it just of the rear passengers. If I push this button, that'll turn on my lights for a better quality photo. And because it has built-in AI, I can just point at something and it knows what I'm talking about. Guanbi zhege. Even if you're 6 feet tall and scoot the seat all the way back, you still have plenty of space in the rear for a car seat. And to make sure you don't wake your kids, it has soft close. If your kids are older, they can enjoy heated and ventilated seats that can recline and massage you. I have a built-in footrest right down here, have a built-in cooler that can also double to keep food hot. And because kids always lose the remote, I just use my hand. But don't think I forgot about the parents. Tell me this isn't cool. And if you need to fit really long items, you can do that too. It even has a Sentry mode to monitor your car. And did I mention how quiet this is?
Yeah, the Ford CEO is driving around a Chinese car and he says he loves it and it's better than anything they make. But we're not allowed to buy them. We're not allowed to buy them, chat. I've been watching the Shenzhen index. Is it crashing too? Oh, it's up? Really? Okay. Gold is up. Crude oil is down. Oh, no. Yeah. So I like to use crude oil as a good proxy for the economy. See how the crude oil spiked in the Trump delirium because you know, stock traders are Republicans. And so whatever a Republican wins, they always have this like hyperbolic bubble. And then they realize like, oh, wait. They're cutting everything and the economy is going into recession. And then they have a panic crash. This happens pretty consistently. Happened with Bush as well. The economy was shuddering before September 11th. Man, speak for yourself. I'm a Maoist stock trader. Hell yeah, brother.
Announced that she will be putting retaliatory tariff and non-tariff measures in place starting on Sunday. We will learn what those are. But we've already
Claudia
heard
Sheinbaum's approval rating is like the highest in the world of any democratic country. When people are asked if they'd rather have Claudia or AMLO, 53% say Claudia and only 10% say AMLO. And AMLO is the one who basically created the party. She has completely regained the loyalty of Mexico. Jesus Christ.
China, who is retaliating with 15% and 10% tariffs on agriculture exports coming from the U.S. going into China. And also similarly, Canada has put additional tariffs in place hitting agriculture products. And that is key for American farmers here because they were hit with retaliatory tariffs in 2018, so much so that the U.S. federal government had to provide financial assistance for them. So yet again, they are taking the brunt of these retaliatory tariffs here in the U.S. And for U.S. consumers, this is coming at a very shaky time economically. Consumer sentiment fell in the month of February. Inflation is starting to heat up. And these tariffs bring a lot of uncertainty in terms of prices. And then consumers usually, as prices rise, they start to pull back. And that has made Wall Street here very nervous. You mentioned at the open there that stocks closed, the markets closed, the Dow down by 650 points. Becky, wiping away all gains that were made since Trump was elected back in November. So there's a lot of uncertainty here playing out. Businesses are nervous, consumers are starting to become nervous, and we are really starting to see the beginning of a trade war. And I emphasize beginning because this could obviously only escalate from here, Becky.
Yep. And Mark, let me bring you in out of Beijing. Vanessa, thank you. China hitting back then on US agriculture, and it says it won't be bullied. What more on the response from Beijing?
Right, Becky. I think the response from China
is Hasan banned for how much? Yes, he's banned. How long? We just know it's temporary. So it could be anywhere from 3 days to 30 days. When I got banned for 2 days in like 20 hours. Because I had a bad boy joke. I think that, actually, to be honest with you, chat, I was originally banned for 7 days. But then I took a quiz on the TOS. Twitch has been implementing this new program to like get people unbanned faster. So I had to take a test on the TOS. And that reduced my ban from 7 days to 2 days. So I hope Hasan is getting the same opportunity. But I found the re-education quiz to be a good idea. I was all in favor of it. Look how Claudia just rolls around in a regular Suburban. This is what scares me. Left-wingers are like, I'm no better than you. I'm just one of you. And then crazed right-wing psycho freak. I mean, Amouranth and Valkyrie can't walk around without weirdo freaks. You know what I mean? Like, let alone being an incredibly popular leftist president. You know what I mean? If Valkyrie can't go to the fucking pier without being harassed by a psycho. I mean, I'm sure she's rolling deep with security, but she likes regular people. It just worries me, you know?
Very sharp and it's very strategic. As Vanessa mentioned, in 2018,
honestly, Claudia Scheinbaum is one of those people that it makes you realize that so much of the suffering in the world is completely self-inflicted. It's self-inflicted by working class people being cynical and being greedy and being selfish and not really wanting to believe that other people care about them. That's what's really sad. Nothing makes me sadder than when somebody who is working class or has, a generally good understanding of the world has fallen to misanthropic views and they think that other people are bad. It's one of my things I hate the most about liberals. Liberals like to inculcate the idea that Americans are just conservative, mean, racist people. And the reason why they like to inculcate that idea is so that you never try to move in solidarity with people in like-minded positions. Like if you are a black woman, a working class black woman, and you believe that Kamala Harris lost because she is a black woman, you're going to hate other working class people. You're going to be bitter toward other working class people. You're going to have schadenfreude when other working class people get hurt. That is the ultimate liberal, disgusting liberal move. And conservatives do it as well, right? They create in-group, out-groups, and they, of people that are just like you, except they have some characteristic that you can distinguish them from you, right? And that's the thing that pisses me off the most. That's why you don't see me do I do some hogwatch, but only for people that are really ideologically committed conservatives. Then I like when those people get hurt, to be honest, like in a comeuppance way, not like in any kind of illegal way. Just like, I voted for Trump. Oh shit, I got fired by Doge. Like, I do think that like making fun of those people is a bad move politically. But if somebody's like, I'm a conservative racist. Oh shit, the leopard is eating my face. It is kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. Apart from my politics, I'm not American. All of the planet thinks America is a bunch of bitter lunatics who care about nothing and no one but yourselves. I wish that was true. I wish that was true, because I think a lot of people buy America's propaganda. A lot of people watch Marvel movies. A lot of people watch our shit and then and get like a parasocial connection with Americans. Yeah, I have this open on the other screen, but we'll just remind me when Trudeau goes live.
American farmers dealt with the hardships.
My southern accent
of
is one of the best I've ever heard. I'm dead.
This very
What the hell are you talking
move
about?
to, again,
now I'm fucking it up
farmers,
because I'm trying to do
target
it.
people who
It has to be
work in
spontaneous
food
for me to do it.
To target the agriculture industry. These are jobs. These
Where
are
are
people
you at
in the
in
United
Pennsylvania?
States
I've lived in all areas of Pennsylvania. I lived in Boiling Springs. I lived in Harrisburg. I lived in Pittsburgh. I lived in Philadelphia. I lived in Allentown. I lived in Bethlehem. The only major city in Pennsylvania that I didn't live in was Erie. So that's the only, but I have visited Erie. I have been to Erie. I just never lived in Erie. Although I wouldn't really call Erie a major city. It's more like, it's the 4th largest city. It's like 100,000 people. Do a Yinzer? You want to go downtown? Did you live in the one with the American cheese tuna pizza? No, that sounds like Altoona, which is not even really a town. It's like, it's the middle of nowhere. My Canadian colleague likes to talk to me about politics now. He's figured out that what I'm interested in it. He was shocked when I told him I wish the Democrats hated the Republicans as much as I do. He wants them to work together. Canadian brain. Pennsylvania country folk have a southern twang. All right. No. Pennsylvanians sound like this. Here, there's two major accents in Pennsylvania. There's Pittsburghese. This is fun because we don't need to think about stuff that sucks. Pittsburghese, and then there is the Philadelphia accent.
So I'm interested in the history of the way people talk here, the history of the words and expressions and things that people use here, but also, and probably the main focus of the book, is the Pittsburghese phenomenon. When and why did people in Pittsburgh get so interested in how they talk or how Pittsburghers talk? And when did that happen? Why did it happen? What are the things that people do to keep each other interested? People talk about Pittsburghese. People wear T-shirts with Pittsburghese on them. People buy and sell dolls that speak Pittsburghese. There's all sorts of ways that
I won't accept Pennsylvania Dutch erasure. Honestly, it's the Pennsylvania Dutch culture being intentionally destroyed by the Democratic Party is very sad.
Topic just comes up, and I'm interested in why that happens, when it started happening, who's involved, why they're involved. Well, one really interesting word is yins, which is the word that people use.
Do we know how
probably
long he's
the
banned
most
for yet?
often.
No, he didn't tell me. I reached out and I was like, sorry to hear about your ban, man. But he didn't tell me how long he's banned, which I get. Like, you don't really want to. I didn't tell people how long I was banned because the answer was I had an appeal that was partially accepted. I talk about this, like when I made that joke about having that opportunity in Florida. And a bunch of like people had a freak attack on, live stream fail in Twitter about how I was trying to hire a hitman, which nobody who looked at that actually thinks I was trying to hire a hitman. I just said I had a $100,000 opportunity. When Twitch talked to me about it, they said, we know you didn't make a threat. However, you made a joke that could reasonably be interpreted that way. And you know what you were doing. And you're not allowed to do that. So you get a 7-day ban. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't have it. And I honestly apologized. I was like, you know what? Like, you guys are right. I shouldn't have done that. And then, so I put in my appeal, and then they put me into Twitch re-education program where I needed to study the Twitch TOS and then take a test. And if I passed the test, then I would get my ban reduced. So I immediately took the test. I know the TOS like the back of my hand, and I got a 100% on the test. So I immediately was unbanned. I think they were surprised how quickly I took the test and how confident I was that I knew everything. And they were like, if you know the TOS this well, why did you get banned? And it's like, good point. The answer is, I don't think I should actually have been banned, but I understand that they give, like, the TOS basically allows Twitch the ability to ban people when they feel like it. One of the things about being banned on Twitch that I think some people don't understand is that it's a good way to get the heat off of you, right? I think this is a thing that Twitch kind of understands that I think some streamers don't understand, which is sometimes they ban you and you just kind of go away for a little bit and then people get bored of talking about it. And it kind of like gets the heat off you so that you can come back. And I think that's an underestimated point where it's like you know, I think being banned is fucking ridiculous and I hate it and I think it's stupid as fuck. But I do think there's kind of an accidental benefit, which is, you know, it gets the heat off of you. And even only a few days is like is a good way to get the conversation kind of in the background. However, the problem is when you get unbanned, there's another round of discourse of so-and-so banned. I will say this, and I mean it like really, 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 really clearly, is that we're in desperate straits, and Hasan, and to a lesser extent myself and the other left-wing content creators online, we're some of the few people that are actually talking about the situation in an honest and balanced way. And so, like, I think he's incredibly important right now. And so I think this was a huge mistake for the country, how damaging it is to not have, and I hope he keeps making content on Twitter and on YouTube and on TikTok. I hope he just goes live on YouTube, honestly. Do I think it would be any value for a shooting sports channel on the Discord? Yeah, that's something I have to think about. I think one of the things that I disagree with Hasan about the most is the idea that he's not that important. I think that's the thing I disagree with him the most. I know it's like the most glazing thing you can say, but I think it's objectively true. When the election ended, how many people reached out to Hasan? We're talking about Slate journalists. We're talking about Drop Site News. We're talking about Pod Safe America. We're talking about, you know, we're talking about all sorts of political media. They were immediately reaching, New York Times, they were all immediately reaching out to Hasan. They don't do that to somebody who doesn't matter. Right? They weren't reaching out to Destiny, right? They weren't reaching out to Ethan Klein. They weren't reaching out to Hutch. You know, like they were reaching out to the one political streamer who matters.
When they're talking about Pittsburghese, it comes up all the time. That and the downtown vowel. But Yins is just it's kind of the whole Pittsburghese story in microcosm.
Yins is a word, chat, that is used in Pennsylvania Western dialect. Yins, Y-I-N-Z. It's similar to y'all, but even more. But it can even be used in more circumstances. Used is something that is in that's more Philadelphian.
You can trace the word Yins back to the very first people who spoke English in this area.
I don't like Hasan because of his casual ableism, calling people schizophrenic as an example, but he's still somehow a force for good. I would say that ableism, Trudeau's lab. Okay, we'll go over there. I would say that ableism is the most made up of all of the Radlib complaints.
Closest friend. At the same time, they're talking
against
about
Hasan.
working positively.
I thought that was
Russia,
obvious.
Appeasing Vladimir Putin, a lying, murderous dictator. Make that make sense. Canadians are reasonable, and we are polite, but we will not back down from a fight. Not when our country and the well-being of everyone in it is at stake. At the moment, the U.S.
This is actually amazing because the Liberals are going to win the election because of Trump. The Conservatives in Canada are going to lose the election because of Trump. That's insane.
Tariffs came into effect in the early hours of this morning, and so did the Canadian response. Canada will be implementing 25% tariffs against $155 billion worth of American goods, starting with tariffs on $30 billion worth of goods immediately, and tariffs on the remaining $125 billion of American products in 21 days' time. Encore aujourd'hui, on se voit forcé d'imposer des droits de douane de 25% sur 155 milliards de dollars américains de marchandises. 30 milliards de marchandises américaines, excusez-moi. 30 milliards de dollars de façon immédiate et dans 21 jours, 125 milliards de dollars de marchandises de plus. Today, we will also be challenging these illegal actions by filing dispute resolution claims at the World Trade Organization and through the USMCA. But in the meantime, our tariffs will remain in place until the U.S. tariffs are withdrawn, and not a moment sooner. And should these tariffs not cease, we are in active and ongoing discussions with provinces and territories to pursue several non-tariff measures. Measures which will demonstrate that there are no winners in a trade war. Now, just like I did a month ago, I want to speak first directly to the American people. We don't want this. We want to work with you as a friend and ally. And we don't want to see you hurt either. But your government has chosen to do this to you. As of this morning, markets are down, and inflation is set to rise dramatically all across your country. Your government has chosen to put American jobs at risk at the thousands of workplaces that succeed because of materials from Canada or because of consumers in Canada, or both. They've chosen to raise costs for American consumers on everyday essential items like groceries and gas, on major purchases like cars and homes, and everything in between. They've chosen to harm American national security, impeding access to the abundant critical minerals, energy, building materials, and fertilizers that we have and that the United States needs to grow and prosper. They've chosen to launch a trade war that will, first and foremost, harm American families. They've chosen to sabotage their own agenda that was supposed to usher in a new golden age for the United States. And they've chosen to undermine the incredible work we've done together to tackle the scourge that is fentanyl, a drug that must be wiped from the face of the earth. So on that point, let me be crystal clear. There is absolutely no justification or need whatsoever for these tariffs today. Now, the legal pretext your government is using to bring in these tariffs is that Canada is apparently unwilling to help in the fight against illegal fentanyl. Well, that is totally false. Let's look at the facts. Our border is already safe and secure. Far less than 1% of fentanyl flows and less than 1% of illegal crossings into the United States comes from Canada. But we acted because we know we can always do better. We responded to concerns, including from the President, by implementing an ambitious $1.3 billion border plan. A border plan that includes generational investments in new AI and imaging tools to stop the flow of fentanyl in its tracks, stronger coordination and information sharing with American agencies, along with the deployment of drones, helicopters, and additional personnel to keep our border secure. Now, a month ago, as part of an agreement with the United States that paused the tariffs, we made further commitments. We appointed Kevin Brasseau as our fentanyl czar, a man who dedicated his multi-decade career in law enforcement to combating organized crime networks and drug trafficking. We
AKA the CIA.
designated 7 drug cartels, sick, evil groups who cynically profit off the pain and suffering of people on both sides of the border, as the terrorist organizations that they are. And just yesterday, we launched a new joint operations partnership supported by a $200 million investment between Canada's security and law enforcement agencies, a partnership that will enhance the coordination of information and intelligence in order to thwart criminal gangs involved in the illegal fentanyl trade. And critically, our actions are working. As the U.S. Customs and Border Protection just acknowledged, there was a 97% drop in fentanyl seizures from January compared to December, to a near zero low of less than half an ounce seized in January, even with all the further enforcements and actions we've taken at the borders. In sum, we stepped up. We engaged closely and constructively with the president and his administration. We did everything we promised. We stuck to our word. And we did it because we believe in working together to protect our citizens. Now I want to speak directly to one specific American, Donald. In the over 8 years you and I have worked together, we've done big things. We signed a historic deal that has created record jobs and growth.
I love how
in
Donald Trump
both
is
of
like
our
a
countries.
toddler that everybody has to
We've
pretend
done
is smart.
big things together on the world stage, as Canada and the US have done together for decades, for generations. And now we should be working together to ensure even greater prosperity for North Americans in a very uncertain and challenging world. Now, it's not in my habit to agree with the Wall Street Journal, but Donald, they point out that even though you're a very smart guy, this is a very dumb thing to do. We two friends fighting is exactly what our opponents around the world want to see. And now, to my fellow Canadians, I won't sugarcoat it. This is going to be tough, even though we're all going to pull together, because that's what we do. We will use every tool at our disposal so Canadian workers and businesses can weather this storm. From expanding EI benefits and making them more flexible to providing direct supports to businesses, we will be there as needed to help. But Canada, make no mistake, no matter how long this lasts, no matter what the cost, the federal government and other orders of government will be there for you. We will defend Canadian jobs. We will take measures to prevent predatory behavior that threatens Canadian companies because of the impacts of this trade war, leaving them open to takeovers. We will relentlessly fight to protect our economy. We will stand up for Canadians every single second of every single day because this country is worth fighting for. Les derniers mois ont été stressants et honnêtement épuisants pour nous tous. Mais je crois qu'on peut être rassuré par l'incroyable solidarité dont on a tous été témoins entre nous. Solidarité entre nos entreprises, nos syndicats, notre société civile, les communautés autochtones et tous les Canadiens. L'ensemble de la société canadienne parle d'une seule voix pour qu'on se fasse entendre de nos partenaires américains pour illustrer que l'imposition des droits de douane, c'est une très mauvaise idée. En même temps, on travaille à l'interne pour faire tomber les obstacles au commerce.
The Canadian broadcast and American stock market graph next to Trudeau. Oh shit. Okay, maybe we need to switch to that one. Where? You're lying to me.
Entre nos provinces et territoires. On travaille pour rejoindre de nouveaux marchés à travers le monde, pour bâtir une économie toujours plus forte et plus résiliente. Dans les dernières années, j'ai eu plusieurs occasions de discuter avec des leaders du monde entier. Mon message est toujours le même. Le Canada est un partenaire fiable et notre porte est grande ouverte. Dans les dernières semaines, on a aussi redoublé d'efforts pour renforcer nos liens avec le Mexique, qui a lui aussi été frappé par ces tarifs. Ensemble, on va chercher de nouvelles façons de collaborer et de s'appuyer l'un sur l'autre pour faire face à cette menace. Face à l'incertitude, face à l'inquiétude, les Canadiens ont fait preuve de tellement de solidarité. Je vous ai vu partager des listes de produits canadiens pour aider vos proches à appuyer les entreprises d'ici. Je vous ai vu changer vos plans de vacances et opter pour des magnifiques destinations touristiques qu'on a ici chez nous, au Canada. Je vous ai vu redoubler d'efforts pour soutenir nos petites entreprises et nos travailleurs. Je vous ai vu vous porter à la défense de notre culture et la faire rayonner. Je vous ai vu encourager nos athlètes avec une ferveur sans précédent. Moi qui croyais que je ne pouvais pas être plus fier de notre pays et de mes compatriotes. Mais j'ai encore quelque chose à vous demander. Lâchez pas. C'est le moment de redoubler d'efforts, de se tenir debout pour notre pays, de faire tout ce qu'on peut pour choisir le Canada, pour défendre le Canada. On va passer ensemble à travers des moments difficiles. Mais après vous avoir vu aller dans les dernières semaines, j'ai jamais été aussi optimiste quant au futur de notre beau pays, malgré tous les défis qu'on va être en train de vivre ensemble. Le Canada reste le meilleur pays sur Terre. On a tellement de raisons d'être fiers de notre chez-nous, de ces quelques arpents de neige. Mais surtout, je suis fier de notre capacité à nous serrer les coudes quand vient le temps. Les Canadiens ont différentes origines, différentes langues, différentes croyances. Mais quand vient le temps de défendre notre pays, on le fait d'une seule voix, main dans la main. À travers vents et marées, les Canadiens peuvent toujours compter les uns sur les autres. Now, we've been through tough spots before. But every time we've faced long odds and seemingly insurmountable obstacles, we've not only survived, we've emerged stronger than ever. Because when it comes to defending our great nation, there is no price we all aren't willing to pay. And today is no different. Merci beaucoup, mes amis.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. Merci beaucoup. We will now take 20 minutes of questions. Nous prendrons 20 minutes de questions. One question, one follow-up. Une question, un suivi. Merci.
Hi, Prime Minister. Tom Perry with CBC. You're reaching out to the president today. You're speaking directly to him. We heard from U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, who says that Donald Trump will be speaking to Canadians. And he also says that he wants to see more progress on fentanyl. So my question to you is, do you have any conversation scheduled with Donald Trump in the coming days? Is that something maybe your successor should do? And do you really believe that this is about fentanyl, or is there something larger at play here?
I have offered to speak to Donald over the past number of days, and I expect to speak with him in the days to come. I'm always there to talk with him about the importance of working together to take.
Frost Prime says, I had a banger Hasan tweet. You should just link me it, man. Just link me it.
Take on the world at this time. The facts show very clearly that in terms of taking action on fentanyl, we are doing everything that is necessary, and not just for the United States.
I pooped my pants. Don't get me started. Don't get me started about being stinky boy. I smelled you. You know, at TwitchCon, I've smelled you. I know what you. I know. Well, I know how you are olfactorily offensive. Okay, don't you dare. Don't you dare kick my boy when he's down.
Canadians are suffering as well from the scourge that is illegal fentanyl. We have laid out extensive plans, actions, cooperations, including as recently as the past days in Washington, and they have always been very well received.
Potential relief
and
programs.
The
In Quebec, they're talking out the possibility of 160,000 jobs being lost. There are plants closing already. Now, is there something on the table today that you can tell Canadians in order to try and mute the effect of these tariffs? Well, there are things that we will be looking at immediately when it comes to the employment insurance program, but I want to remind Canadians that our goal is not to find ways for Canadians to get through these tough times. It is to prevent these tough times from lasting any more than they absolutely have to. If we can have those tariffs removed tomorrow, that's what we will try to do. Our priority is to put an end to this economic war, and the fact that Americans will immediately be facing layoffs and problems with respect to their own consumer products will certainly help us to put an end to this challenge as quickly as possible. But in fact, we are looking at a number of options, a number of things that we can do if those tariffs remain in place longer than a day or two. Even with the immediate review of UEI programs that we might want to tweak.
Foremost, as we reflect on the impacts on Canadian workers and Canadian jobs and businesses, is that, first of all, there will be similar impacts on Americans losing their jobs, American families paying more for basic goods that they rely on at a time where times are tight everywhere. But our focus has to be on getting these tariffs lifted as quickly as possible. What can we do in the coming days is our focus to make sure that these tariffs don't last a second longer than necessary. So we will be looking at, including looking in the coming day at things we can do around adjusting EI to support people through this difficult time. But our priority has to be not on figuring out how to manage through these tariffs over the coming days and weeks and months, but on doing everything we can to get them lifted and put an end to this unjustified trade war.
One of the things that I would say is it's just like, one of the most important things about the economy is a concept that is known as animal spirits. Animal spirits is economist for vibes. When everybody feels like the vibes are fucked, the economy crashes. When everybody feels optimistic, the economy grows. Donald Trump has just successfully killed the vibes. And once people start cutting back, that causes other people's businesses to start to be unprofitable. And then they start cutting back because their business is unprofitable. And so their cutbacks cause other people to cut back. And that's how you get a recession. All recessions are vibe sessions. And this is one of the oldest and most accurately understood elements of the economy, is that when the vibes are bad, the economy's bad. And Donald Trump just smashed the fucking vibes. I don't care whether or not you think the tariffs are justified or not. The way he's doing it is completely uncoordinated and makes no fucking sense. He's fucking the vibes.
That hurts American families and Canadian families.
On a l'impression que vous n'avez plus beaucoup de cartes dans votre jeu.
I think you
devancer
don't have that many cards left to play. Now, would the renegotiation of the Kuzma agreement be a way to address this? Well, right now, in our conversations with the president, it's not very clear what he's actually trying to do or what he wants. Perhaps the only clarity is what he's said a number of times, which is that his goal is to ruin the Canadian economy so that he can then move on to annex the country. That's what he wants. So I'm not sure. I'm not really certain what kind of negotiation could go forward right now that would convince him.
I can't believe there's a shitty podcast called Animal Spirits that now fucking, is all over the search results for Google. Like, can you kill me now? Can you kill me now? I'm trying to get like a couple-minute explainer, and now it has this dog shit grifter podcast. Like, fuck you, Google. You suck shit. And like the explanations are like tutor to you, like, and simple explain. Like, come on. The quality of everything sucks shit now. Is this AI? Is this
Animal spirits, a term coined?
The top result on Google is an AI response? The internet is actually just dog shit now. This is 1.5 hours long. I just wanted a baby tier level explanation.
Hi there. One of the concepts mentioned on the Edexcel AS macro syllabus, and one that's certainly relevant to every single board, is the idea of animal spirits, in particular animal spirits and business investment. Let's spend a moment or two thinking about that. This chart shows total business investment in the UK economy. It's measured in millions of pounds, and it's measured also at constant 2012 prices. In other words, this shows us the real level of investment. And you can see that investment follows a cyclical pattern. It's quite strong from 2005 and 2007 and 2008, but then it fell sharply in 2009. It took a little bit while to recover. In fact, in 2012, business investment was still a little bit below the level in 2008. So investment tends to be quite highly cyclical. Why is this? Well, many factors determine business investment, and one of the key factors is expectations. Expectations play a key role for businesses, particularly when they're thinking of making major, bulky, expensive investment projects in new capital goods, new factories, and new technology. Many factors determine investment: actual demand and expected demand, expected profitability, the actual level of interest rates and the expected level of interest rates in the future, and crucially, the state of business confidence, or Keynesian animal spirits. Keynes coined the notion of animal spirits. And basically this was about the psychology of business decisions. The driving force, animal spirits are the driving force that gets people and businesses going in the economy. So what are animal spirits? Animal spirits is a mix of different emotions: confidence, trust, mood, expectations. And crucially, animal spirits can fluctuate quite quickly and quite rapidly.
And this is the point that I think people are not quite understanding, that the confidence of business is taking a shit. When you combine the DeepSeek and the fact that the Chinese are way ahead of where we thought they would be on AI, which was a major bubble, but you look at the Tesla bubble, because Tesla just has no plausible way of making the valuation of its stock make sense. You've got the Tesla bubble, you've got the AI bubble, and now you have the tariff crisis. People's confidence has been shattered. And unless I start to see something that's going to change that, we are headed directly toward the fucking cliff.
So in a situation where confidence is low, where animal spirits are sagging, people save more, businesses save more too, and because there's less demand and lower profits, businesses tend to scale back their production, perhaps postpone some major planned investment projects. So it's a deterioration in animal spirits will lead to a fall in planned investment. Indeed, when people save more and when there's reduced investment, both of those cause a contraction in aggregate demand and can cause the level of...
Do you think it will be like 2008? Maybe I could buy a house again. Do you have a lot of cash? Do you have a lot of cash, Hackstock? Because if you don't have cash, how are you getting the money?
Income to go down. This was what Keynes called the paradox of thrift. Saving in principle is good, but if we all save a little bit more and spend a little bit less, and all of us, including businesses and households, we can end up poorer as a result. But the key thing is that business investment is largely driven by expectations, and the Keynesian concept of animal spirits is tremendously important in understanding that.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what Donald Trump is successfully creating. His poor confidence.
This is the right thing to do. And really, what we have to do is demonstrate that our economies are very closely linked and that these kinds of barriers and tariffs will mean suffering for people on both sides of the border. That, in fact, we should be working together, doing things together. And while he decides to ruin the Canadian economy, I don't know whether, in terms of negotiations or in the face of such bad faith, where he brings in tariffs against Canada without any factual justification, I don't know whether opening negotiations would be a good idea. We're open to doing it if he wants that, but he has not even referred to that possibility.
I'm just trying to remember. What was that? Cosmet, that's right. I think in terms of what he wants, I heard he talked about banking again this morning in a tweet, which doesn't make any sense because American banks, there's about 16 American banks currently active in Canada holding about $113 billion worth of assets in this country. So the American banks are alive and well and prospering in Canada. It's an example of really being able to see what it is that he wants, because even the excuse that he's giving for these Paris tariffs today of fentanyl is completely bogus, completely unjustified, completely false. So we actually have to fold back on the one thing he has said repeatedly, that what he wants is to see a total collapse of the Canadian economy, because that'll make it easier to annex us, is the second half of his thought. Now, first of all, that's never going to happen. We will never be the 51st state. But yeah, he can do damage to the Canadian economy, and he's started this morning. But he is rapidly going to find out, as American families are going to find out, that that's going to hurt people on both sides of the border. Americans will lose jobs. Americans will be paying more for groceries, for gas, for cars, for homes, because we have always done best when we work together. So we are, of course, open to starting negotiations on the customer review, but let us not fool ourselves about what he seems to be wanting. And I will admit, I have been holding out hope that these tariffs were just a clever negotiating ploy that would have the impact that they're having now without even bringing them in over the past weeks, as we've seen order books dry up for Canadian companies from American customers, as we've seen expansion plans in Canada put on hold, as we've seen people choosing to invest in the United States over the past weeks because of the threat of tariffs. But now that he's moved forward with tariffs, we're going to see the real impact of a trade war between our two countries. And that impact will be to hurt American families.
Prime Minister Tonda McCharles with the Toronto Star. I hope you can be as specific as possible for a number of these points. Everybody's looking to what actually you're going to do. In your statement last night, you referenced non-tariff measures, and I want to know exactly what you're prepared to contemplate there. And given that your likely successors, both Carney and Poilievre, have said it should be dollar-for-dollar retaliatory tariffs, that's on $600 billion worth of American imports. If you were to do that, is that on or off the table?
I will be sitting down, as I have every week for the past many, many weeks, with the premiers this afternoon to talk about our individual, combined, and collective response to this. As we've put on the table, the federal government has $155 billion
premiers are like governors in Canada,
that we can move forward with immediately, and that we will be moving forward with both now and 21 days from now to give Canadian companies time to adjust their supply chains to not be overly impacted by this. But there are many other things that have been surfaced by different premiers in different approaches that we can look at. One, for example, is around purchasing and around suppliers and around contracts, whether it's municipal, provincial, or federal, with American companies. There are many different things that we've been looking at, and that conversation with the premiers this afternoon is going to be very, very important. But I can tell you what we have seen is Canadians across provinces and territories, across political lines, are united in knowing that this is a time to hit back hard and to demonstrate that a fight with Canada will have no winners. And the sooner we can get past this fight, back to working together to take on the world, as our two countries always have, the better we'll all be.
To what extent have you turned or gotten cooperation from any other allies to exact more pain on the U.S. to accelerate getting to a solution? And are you concerned that Mexico appears to be trying to do their own thing maybe next Sunday?
The Canadians are saying, how do we plan on getting more pain for the U.S.? Marx is crying right now of joy. The Chinese diplomat is sitting there watching this and just laughing his ass off. Donald Trump is single-handedly destroying American goodwill to the point where Canadians are like, how do we make Americans suffer? That's incredible.
Where are you with any guarantees you've got allies?
Another troubling example of Hasan being offline and the world goes to shit. Hasan banned equals stock market crash, and the Canadians saying how they want to hurt Americans.
Just spent quite a bit of time over these past couple of weeks meeting with European and international allies to talk about a number of different things, including standing up for the rules-based order by defending Ukraine, but also being there for each other in a more challenging and uncertain world. And I can tell you that every country is very, very aware that if the American government is willing to do this to their own closest ally, neighbor, and friend, everyone is vulnerable to a trade war. And our ability to work together thoughtfully and strategically to make sure we're supporting our citizens, we're doing things together in a more diversified way is something that is on the mind of all of our allies.
Where are you in discussions with European allies? Well, as you know, in recent weeks, I had a lot of conversations with many of our allies and our European friends on the international stage, and I can tell you that everyone is worried. They see that if the United States is prepared to do that to Canada, their closest ally and partner, their most interconnected ally, then everyone is at risk. And our ability to work together and to do more together to diversify our supply chains in a more deliberate manner. Well, these are the conversations we're having now, and we will continue to have them with our allies. With our Mexican partners, we continue to be in close contact, and we continue to look at how we can do things together, as I said. to not suffer any more than needed
Hi,
through these tariffs.
Rachel Haynes from CTV National News. As we know, the Liberal Party is going to be picking a new leader over the weekend. But when is it going to be your last official day as Prime Minister?
That will be up to a conversation between the new leader and myself to figure out how long a transition is needed. It should happen reasonably quickly, but there's a lot of things to do in a transition like this, particularly at this complicated time in the world. My
last day will be determined once the new leader of the Liberal Party has been selected. This is a conversation we will have to have about how much time will be required for the transition. There are a lot of things to be considered, but I know that we will be able to do that quite quickly.
It sounds like it won't be immediately on March 9th or March 10th, so it sounds like you'll probably still have some time remaining to put in some more actions on this. Is one of those things that you're considering going to be taxing oil, gas, and potash exports, even if premiers don't consent to that?
As I said, the most important thing we're facing, as I've said, the most important thing we can do is ensure that Canadians remain united. That's why whatever response, individually or collectively, we do across the country, we have to make sure that no single part of the country is carrying a greater burden or suffering any more than everyone else. This is going to be tough for all of us, but we need to be pulling and holding Canadians together every step of the way. And that's the conversation I'm going to be having with the premiers this afternoon in our now weekly meetings. There will be many different ideas we discuss, but the most important thing, more important than doing specific or effective pressure points on the United States, is keeping Canadians united together. As we go through the pain that these American tariffs will inflict on our economy, on our workplaces, on Canadian families, we will be able to say this is happening to us by the decisions of a different government. As American families suffer.
Trump just truthed his master plan. Companies move to the U.S. for no tariffs. And that's certainly going to be a result, without a doubt. That is certainly going to be a move that a lot of companies make. But the antagonism and the disconnection of the U.S. with the Canadian economy and the Mexican economy is going to cause massive disruptions, especially in the immediate short term. And that is going to cause a contraction overall of investment. And here's the problem. If the economy goes into recession, will those companies have the capability to invest in U.S. manufacturing? Will that actually, or will that get cut off as business sentiment declines? Like it may be that he gets us into a situation where the economy contracts and the expected domestic investment never materializes because he did the tariffs in such an uncontrolled manner. And like that is the kind of situation that we are directly fucking confronting, which is like Donald Trump is a dumb fuck.
The impact of these tariffs, of this trade war with Canada, they will be saying this is happening because our own government is choosing to do it to us. That's a very different proposition. And the most important thing right now, more important than anything else, is for Canadians.
Zelensky just called the meeting regrettable and is ready to make peace negotiations. I mean, like, that makes sense because, Ukraine is an American puppet state. And the Europeans just don't have the capability to fill in what the U.S. is doing. They just don't. Without dramatically reducing their own security. This is what people don't understand, is that if Donald Trump acts in a way that is maximally designed to destroy the Western Bloc, because of the way these structures are built, he can cause a serious, immediate short-term damage. And, might not be the worst thing to happen. I mean, what's happening to the economy is bad, but NATO falling apart might be a good idea.
To remain united. And that's why all premiers will be focused on things.
Spellshifter says just moving a company wouldn't necessarily change anything beyond the investment costs. The supply chain for certain business sectors can't be wholly contained in the U.S. That's exactly right. Like, America doesn't have a strong production of lithium, and America doesn't have a strong production of rare earth metals. America doesn't have a strong production of, like, advanced microchips. Like, they're just not in the U.S., so they can't be quickly moved. So if you just slap tariffs on everybody, you're just making prices go up, which means you're going to contract the amount of the economy. And if you raise tariffs while cutting spending, you just make the economy smaller because you're taking demand out of the economy. You're just putting the economy into a recession because tariffs are like a tax. So if you raise taxes while cutting spending, you just make the economy shrink. So why the recession is very likely to happen, and then we'll talk about possible reasons that might not happen. Number one, business sentiment, animal spirits, the vibes are fucked. That just feels to be true. Second, the tariffs causing price increases and reduction in demand because the higher the prices are, the less people could afford, the less transactions are going to take place. And then three, a contraction of the federal spending while raising taxes, lowering overall aggregate demand, as well as cutting hundreds of thousands of government jobs. That's going to mean all those people don't have money anymore to spend into the economy. That's going to cause further contraction. So animal spirits fucked, tariffs raising prices, cutting government spending, cutting government employment. That's not good, folks.
That make sure Canadians don't get divided amongst ourselves. This is a time for us to pull together because the Americans will be having very real and very challenging debates and discussions about these actions. There will be no debate in Canada about whether or not we should be pulling together and responding. Everyone is aligned on that, and protecting that is job one for the Canadian government and the Canadian Prime Minister.
Hi, Mr. Trudeau.
Okay. Évidemment,
of course, there are a number of things that different provinces or industrial sectors may want to do to not feel so much pressure from the U.S. But I want to be very clear in saying that it's not because we don't want one sector or industry to carry a heavier burden than any other. And therefore, we have to be fair in our response and in the supports that we provide. Because the most important thing in all of this situation is that Canadians remain united. And that's what I intend to speak to the premiers of the provinces and territories about this afternoon. Unity with respect to our courage and determination as a country and as Canadians will be our most effective weapon in the coming days. Because Canadian families facing negative impacts as a result of these tariffs will be saying, well, we're going to stick together as Canadians because it's another country that's doing this to us. And we are going to stand firm and get through this together. American families that see job losses happening, that see prices going up because of these tariffs, they will have to say, well, yeah, it's because of our own government that we're suffering now. And that will lead to very tough conversations between Americans with respect to why this trade war is even happening.
We will take one last question and follow up. Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Trudeau. Mackenzie Gray with Global. You mentioned the markets earlier. Someone who knows a thing about them, Warren Buffett, came out and said that these tariffs could be viewed as an act of war. Does the Canadian government believe these tariffs from Donald Trump is an act of war from the U.S.?
Canadians are not angry at the American people for this. We don't have anything against Americans. Americans are our neighbors, our friends, our partners. We do things together. We've done things together for decades and generations. This is a policy decision by the American government designed to go after the Canadian economy. This is a trade war, yes, but Canadians are hurt. Canadians are angry. We're going to choose to not go on vacation in Florida or Old Orchard Beach or wherever. We're going to choose to try to buy Canadian products and forego bourbon and other classic American products. And yeah, we're probably going to keep booing the American anthem. But let me tell Americans, we're not booing you. We're not booing your teams. We're not booing your players. We're booing a policy that is designed to hurt us. And we're insulted. And we're angry, but we're Canadian, which means we're going to stand up for each other. We're going to fight, and we're going to win.
There are probably a lot of folks watching on TV today who've been laid off or they were told not to come into work today because of these tariffs. Can you explain to them why you've not announced any relief measures today to help those folks out?
As I've said, our entire focus has been on preventing these tariffs from coming in, if there was at all a way, and it now looks like there was never a way we were going to be able to avoid these tariffs that the president was determined to do. And our focus now is going to be on making sure that they get lifted and that there is an end to this trade war as quickly as possible. But over the past month, we have been working on measures that if these tariffs last longer than a few hours or a few days, we be able to help Canadian citizens, Canadian workers, Canadian companies make it through this time. But let's also be clear, this is going to be tough. The American trade war is going to hurt the Canadian economy and is going to hurt all of us. What our government needs to make sure we're doing is try to make sure that nobody goes hungry and that everyone carries their share of this. And that's a hard thing to do, but that's where we're leaning in, both as a federal government and with provinces and territories on responses to be there for Canadians.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister.
Merci.
That concludes today's press conference.
And that is the Prime Minister of Canada on this extraordinary day in Canada's history, with some extraordinary comments from him directly, things that we have, frankly, never heard him say before, speaking very frankly to both Canadians, Americans, and to the President, Donald Trump, saying that he agrees with the Wall Street Journal that this is a dumb idea.
Hey, Shiffy Vickers,
he also made it
thanks for the
clear that
subs.
he doesn't believe the President's motivation is about the border or fentanyl, says that he wants to damage or force a collapse of the Canadian economy in order to annex this country. He also, off the top of his comments, said that this is a day where the United States is now aligned with Russia, a lying, murderous dictator, talking about Vladimir Putin, and not with Canada. An extraordinary moment for the Prime Minister in what is likely his final week in the job. I want to bring in all of our people helping us with our coverage. Janice McGregor in Ottawa.
Oh, are you going to remain in an alliance with us if that's the case?
Simpson and Peter Armstrong, both in Washington. An awful lot there to get into. So let's talk through some of it. I'm going to start with Janice, if that's okay. I don't know that I have ever, in my time covering the Prime Minister over more than a decade, heard him speak that forcefully and that bluntly about an ally, about a colleague in this extraordinary moment for the country, Janice.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally concur in that. Yeah. The language of diplomacy that, you know, when you're afraid of upsetting someone, that all out the window in terms of what we just heard. And an extraordinary kind of three-part structure to his actual prepared remarks. Some of the blunt language came in the questions later on as well. But if you look at sort of the way his message sort of spoke to the American people first, then had particularly targeted words at Donald Trump, and then talk to Canadians. We know the American networks were on him, at least for the initial parts, didn't maybe hang in for the whole thing like we did. But, you know, what they heard was a refutation of what they hear from their own White House. That kind of opening part where he talked about the changing relationship between the U.S. government and Russia, and plainly sort of looked into the camera and said, make that make sense. This idea that this fight is being picked with a neighbor like Canada, while they are sort of, you know, looking the other way and warming things up with Russia. I thought that was an extraordinary moment right off the jump. And then sort of the economic message, taking that really hard to the American viewers, the ways that this is going to hurt them. And then, as you say, the very poignant remarks to Donald Trump, calling him by his first name, not Mr. President, you know, trying to speak his language about how he wants to be seen as a smart guy, but this is dumb. And then the words of reassurance. And even that, like, this came up in the Q&A at the end, but sort of like putting a spin, a frame around the booing at the hockey game. You know, when Canadians boo, this is what they are doing, and this is what we mean by that. If any Americans still watching and you're wondering kind of what this means for people, interpreting that, in a way I think would set a lot of Canadian heads nodding. All of it.
You know, whatever I hear, we will never be the 51st state. My response to that is like, how would you stop it? Are you depending upon America not wanting to look bad in the world? Are you depending upon America, you know, not, you know, like, how sure are you? What are you doing? You're still in an alliance with the United States. The United States is saying we're threatening you, and you're still in an alliance with the United States. What is the point where you say these threats are unacceptable, and if you continue to make them, then we're going to withdraw from alliances. We're going to kick the U.S. military out of our borders. We're going to end, you know, NORAD cooperation. Like, do you know that United States and Canada have a joint defense network, right? Because We need to, we use Canadian territory to, help detect incoming missile launches. We have a joint air defense network that prevents strategic bombers from flying over the North Pole. Like, that is like, our defense network is a nuclear defense network, and it's completely integrated with the US and Canadian military. Is that going to end? Are you going to continue to share defense information with the United States? I mean, like, it seems to me that you're not really considering a physical threat or it doesn't seem to be that you're willing to defend your country. That's, and I hate to say that, but it does seem to me that the only thing holding Canada back is this belief in Trump respecting norms. And I highly suggest you study the Anschluss. If you don't know what the Anschluss is, when Nazi Germany took over, they went and they said, we think every German speaker should live in Germany. And we're going to annex all the territories where people speak German. And we're going to protect the German nation. And one of the first countries they annexed was Austria. They just went in and rolled in and annexed Austria. It took it over without a fight. That is the kind of shit. Like, if you're a Canadian, you should be studying the Anschluss. And you should take it more seriously than you are. I don't think you 70% of Americans are relatively nice, normal people, but 30% of Americans would make Hitler blush, and they're in control. All right, those Nazi Americans are in control. 70% of Americans either got tricked or were too lazy to do anything about it because because they've been convinced that politics doesn't matter. The fascist Americans are in control. There's nothing they won't do, and you're not protected. Because you're white or whatever else fantasy in your brain you think makes you safe.
Extraordinary. And we can tuck into some of the mechanics of some of the important legal kind of Easter eggs he buried at various points in these remarks. But just stunning set of messages here.
Yeah, and I'll bring in Katie now too for your perspective, Katie. He also, when he spoke to Canadians, was very plain in saying, "I don't want to sugarcoat it. This is going to be tough." And he talked about some of the things that the Canadian government can do to step up. But I want to ask you, Katie, about what you thought of his message to Americans, who was saying to them, if you want to know what's going on and why you're suffering, look at the government that you elected, and speaking directly to Donald Trump. What did you make of those comments?
Well, I've reached out to the White House to see if anyone in the Trump administration has any direct response to that, because we've never heard language like that from the Canadian Prime Minister directly at Donald Trump. Whatever their conversations might be in private, we certainly haven't heard anything like that in public. I keep checking Donald Trump's Truth Social to see if he has any sort of response there, and there's nothing yet. Rosemary, I'm told by a senior Canadian government source that at the Canadian embassy, there are these banners that say friends, allies, and partners that have been put up all over sort of the pillars at the embassy. And that Donald Trump, as he makes his way to the Capitol, and he drove past the Canadian embassy, because it's right there, right across from the Capitol, that was something that he would have seen. I am told that those banners have been taken down as a result of what has taken place over the past 24, 48 hours. So there's just little things like that. But now we wait to see if the president is going to have any sort of response, if he was monitoring what was going on. Some American U.S. news networks, notably Fox News, did carry some of Donald Trump's or some of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's comments. But given how pointed the language came from the Prime Minister, I expect, and they're pointed, short sound bites. And you know what plays well in American news? Pointed, short sound bites. And so I very much suspect a lot of American network news, and we know that President Donald Trump consumes a lot of it, particularly his favorable news outlets, that they will be picking up this content and that it will make its way in front of the president. And the question is he going to respond? Is he going to acknowledge it? Donald Trump has a very big day, separate from everything that's going on with the trade war now, this trade war. He is going to be delivering a joint address to Congress where he's going to outline his vision for America. And part of what he campaigned on, of course, was trying to generate revenue for the United States through tariffs, imposing tariffs on allies and adversaries alike, taking this massive step in escalating the trade war. And so now, when Americans start to have to sort of live with the consequences of that, he's going to try to get ahead of that before the consequences, may be really felt the hardest, and trying to sell his vision to America. That is what he is going to be doing tonight. But one thing to keep in mind, there are some other really key issues in this moment that Americans are concerned about. First and foremost, some of the major changes underway at the American federal government.
Freeland is a massive piece of shit, but now she's advocating for the Hasan doctrine. Canada eyeing NATO allies nukes to deter Trump threat. Trump has said that Canada is not viable as a country without U.S. trade. Freeland proposed forming stronger defense ties with France and Britain as their nuclear arsenals could aid Canada. You actually think France and the UK are going to nuke the United States or Canada? Bro, you can't be serious right now.
Live in the Midwest, who live in the middle of America, the heartland. China knew exactly what it was doing. One item on the list of these various tariffs on agriculture products, tariffs that range in anywhere from about 10 to 15% in addition to what we've already seen, are soybeans. Soybeans are important here in China because they are used to feed pigs. Pigs make up the pork industry, a very important commodity, a very important part of the Chinese economy. But it's not just these tariffs. It's the language that we are hearing from the Chinese government. Do I think a new leftist party is going to win by 20? I have no idea what's going to happen. The response today, it's a lot more pointed than we've heard even just days ago. Take a listen to some of the remarks.
We'll have to see who runs, you know, and who is even trying to get power. You know, it's impossible to say right now. I would like to see, I want to do a draft Sean Fain campaign. We need somebody who is actually left wing, who has a connection to organized labor, and is just not another Democrat bog standard politician who sucks.
Just earlier today, here from Beijing.
If the U.S. has ulterior motives and insists on waging a tariff war, trade war, or any other kind of war, China will fight the U.S. till the end. We advise the U.S. to put away its bullying face and return to the right track of dialogue and cooperation before it is too late.
None of this is truly a surprise. It's not a surprise move by Beijing, and certainly the United States isn't going to be that surprised by it. I've been talking to a number of sources who are both in diplomatic and economic circles, and the real question was, it wasn't if China was going to respond, it was when and just how strong of a response it would be. And now we have these actions from today. And Becky, as we've talked before, this very much falls in line with China's foreign policy playbook of tit for tat. You hurt me, I will hurt you back. And now China is
called being normal
in this very forceful way, Becky.
That's reciprocal morality. That's normal.
And perhaps we might have expected that from
Tit for tat is how you play the game.
Point out, Mark. Paula, let me.
If people benefit by cooperating, but they betray you, then you have to betray them back. You have to punch back. If you don't, they will exploit you. That is just basic game theory. Now, the optimal way to play the game theory is have forgiveness. Like if people decide they want to cooperate again, you should cooperate.
Bring you in what we might not have expected 2 months ago is a tit-for-tat sort of trade war between the US and Canada. And today, Canada going so far as to suggest that it faces an existential threat from its neighbour. Walk us through what's been done out of the gate in response to these US tariffs. And Paula, what more could come from Canada?
Well, Becky, you bring up the salient point here, right? Canada has a free trade agreement that Donald Trump negotiated and signed in 2020. This is not China, someone that the U.S. Had considered an adversary. This is Canada, and really it is ripping up the trade book, if you will, for what they have negotiated already with allies. So what is Canada doing? Well, it is hitting back with 25% tariffs on goods like meat and vegetables, dairy products, alcohol. Think about it, Becky. Anything in the United States, and we're talking about things like bourbon or wine or beer, will get a 25% tariff. But more than that, many provinces here in Canada, I would say the majority, will now be taking U.S. alcohol off their shelves and refusing to sell it. This is the kind of trade war that we're in for right now. We do expect to hear from Prime Minister Trudeau at 10:30, giving us more details on all of this. But I do want to give you some insight into what is already going on both sides of the border. So right now, customs brokers on the border are trying to figure out when they have a truck that comes in with their bill of shipment, what they must charge those companies that are now shipping from Canada into the United States. It is already leading to delays, but more than that, it is already changing the way people, businesses have basically designed all of their assembly, all of their inputs, and it is really wreaking havoc, as I'm hearing from some business owners already. Keep in mind, this morning, Becky, we have already had two top CEOs in the United States from both Best Buy and Target say that Americans will feel this in terms of not just the tariffs that the U.S. has put in, but the retaliatory tariffs from Canada and Mexico and China, that Americans will feel that in the coming days, not just weeks, but days. All of this to make clear that when we say the word tariff, what we could actually be talking about is inflation, because that
Best Buy is absolutely crashing right now. It's down 15% almost, 14.68% on the news of the tariffs in Canada.
All right, welcome back. We got about 7 minutes before we get started with trading here at the New York Stock Exchange. Stocks are looking to open lower after what appeared to be a bit of a rally in the aftermarket yesterday. Meanwhile, we get Best Buy earnings. Let's get to them.
Best Buy.
I just saw Hasan was banned. Greatest day ever. What's your problem with Hasan getting hut? You seem kind of uncool. I'm not gonna lie. You're a gamer and developer. Okay, what do you develop? Come on, I want to hear more. Oh, are you like a huge Zionist? Is that what it is? Are you a huge Zionist, would you say? Oh, were you a pro-Havana syndrome guy? Are you a pro-Havana syndrome? My family had to escape pogroms in Ukraine, so I am not devastated by what is happening. The treatment of Palestinians is abhorrent and needs to stop, but also tokenizing voices like this are very dangerous when it comes to peace in the region. I saw a number of you call for the end of the state, and using this guy's voice is tokenizing. If it's about ending the oppression of apartheid, then I'm 100%. I don't think you agree with that anymore. What happened to your brain, man? Well, okay, so you're a mega liberal Zionist who, after October 7th, it was very clear that you support. Also, you use the phrase tanky. Hate to see it. Honestly, hate to see it, chat. Yeah, Hasan has a temporary ban. Anyway, Stonks, what were we saying?
Magnificent job, CEO. Okay, so David, the numbers out today were much better than expected. Not better than expected, not better than feared, much better than expected. All mine was very good, too. There was, without a doubt, a shock when you saw how good these were.
Is the phrase tanky not legitimate? Basically, anytime somebody uses the phrase tanky, they're stupid. They're a stupid person. That's it. It basically, whatever you read tanky, you should read that the person is saying that they're a dumb cuck moron and that you should ignore everything else they say. It's a very useful word. It's sort of like, hit me in the head. I'm hitting myself in the head with a hammer.
Is that Corey Barry, and it raised the dividend too, in this environment is just doing incredibly well. And then there was this paragraph at the end of her talk where she said, of course, tariffs are coming. Get a lot of stuff from China and Mexico, and we're going to have to raise prices. We're not sure how much, but we're going to have to raise prices.
Right.
And then, while she was talking, phew, that's why I was saying, since we don't know the extent and who pays, whatever, we're just getting these blanket, look, someone's going to have to...
Okay, well, we don't use the R slur around here because it's just cringe as fuck, to be honest. But I'll answer the rest of your question, which is, what is your opinion on why Trump is just destroying the economy? Because he's dumb. But the answer is, it's hard to divine exactly what Donald Trump is trying to do. I just think he's kind of not very bright, and he's trying to just throw his weight around to look like he's tough. But he's also not very intelligent. I mean, he's a guy who went bankrupt with a casino. Can you imagine going bankrupt while owning one of the few legal casinos a few hour drive from Philadelphia and New York, like on the beach? Like, how do you have a casino that's a couple hour drive from Philadelphia at a 3 or 4 hour drive from New York City, fucking go bankrupt on the beach? Like, that shows you how he's a complete fucking dumbass. So I think it really comes down to like, and I don't normally like to give the answer that someone's stupid, especially in geopolitics, because I think that means that your analysis is flawed. But in this case, like, it doesn't seem to be there's no direct explanation. And the thing is, like, it's not just me saying that, they're not providing any explanation or even any argument for what they're doing. And so I don't have very much in the way of an evaluation of what they're saying because they're not saying anything.
pay. And if someone's going to pay, the stock suddenly goes from 87, David, from 87 to 81. Okay, 81. So the people who bought it before the market, they were, of course, idiots. That's okay. You have everyone.
It's now
check
down
with
at
Jefferson was
74,
pro.
chat. It is not good. The volatility index is up. The stock market is down 641 points. It's up from down 800. Dow drops 600 points. NASDAQ flirts with correction territory as Trump ignites trade war. Mexico has also responded.
But very importantly, tomorrow tariffs 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico, and that'll start. So they're going to have a tariff. So what they have to do is build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States, in which case they have no tariffs. I would just say this to people in Canada or Mexico, if they're going to build car plants, the people that are doing them are much better off building here because we have the market. We're the market where they sell the most. And so I think it's going to be very exciting for the automobile companies.
Is there any room left for Canada and Mexico to make a deal before midnight?
No room left for Mexico or for Canada. No, the tariffs, they're all set. They go into effect tomorrow. But very importantly, tomorrow tariffs.
I mean, and this is what Canadians are. This is what's popular in Canada right now.
Now, I'm joined now by Doug Ford. He is the Premier of Ontario, Canada. Mr. Premier, we appreciate you making some time for us today. We know that President Trump delayed these tariffs a month ago, and now we're hearing today that this will happen for Canada. Do you have any indication that he might delay them again? Anything that's giving you any hope at this point?
Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me on, Aaron. For the sake of the American people and the Canadian people, he needs to pull back. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen here. You know, President Trump ran on a mandate to create more jobs, keep inflation low and lower cost. It's going to work totally opposite. Plants will close down within a week. Assembly plants in Michigan, which is a red state. Manufacturing will stop. And the people of the U.S., which I absolutely love, the American people, they're going to be paying more. The market is going to go downhill faster than the American bobsled team.
Mike, we need more theoretical knowledge about things generally instead of just think of techies as someone saying they are stupid. When we are out in the world and referred to as techies, should we know how to respond more intelligently? Yeah, you should respond by spitting in their face. Like in Minecraft. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, they're saying a dumb pejorative to shut down their brain. The response to that should be to disengage. Like, what do you want me to say? No one's going to call you a tanky in IRL, and if they do, that's the appropriate response. Tanky is a meaningless phrase. It's a thought-terminating cliche that liberals say because they can't defend America's foreign policy. Like, if you're like, the United States of America is the aggressor in the Middle East, they'll say you're a tanky. And you're just like, okay, well, I guess we're not analyzing what the United States is doing and why. How do you deal with dumbass shit libs who post like this? This may be one of the worst accounts of all time. Most of 1950 to 2022, like the most peaceful part of that was when the Soviet Union existed. I guess we have to bring back the Soviet Union so we can get peace.
It's going to be an absolute disaster for both countries. We're your largest trading partner. I don't want to respond, but we will respond like they've never seen before. You need our uranium. You need our potash. You need our high-grade nickel. I will stockpile our high-grade nickel at 50% of your military and manufacturing needs. Your aluminum, the steel, the lumber. It will be an absolute disaster. And this is all due to one person, that's President Trump. I have talked to endless governors, Republican governors and Democrats, senators and Congress people. I love the U.S. I lived there for 20 years. They're all saying this is the craziest thing that someone could ever do. Well, sir, it's going to create massive problems.
Well, let me ask you, you said a couple of things here I want to ask you about. First of all, you said that you will respond. Help me understand what you expect the Canadian Prime Minister might do and what you yourself might do as the leader of a province there in Canada.
Well, we'll respond strongly, and we don't want to. On the critical minerals, I will stop shipments going into the U.S. for nickel. It will shut down manufacturing because 50% of the nickel you use is coming out of Ontario. I've ordered our bureaucrats to cut off tens of billions of dollars of contracts that we have with the U.S. We are the largest purchaser of alcohol in the world. We buy over 3,600 products from 35 states. I talked to the governor of Kentucky and Mitch McConnell, don't touch our bourbon. I'm going after absolutely everything. And I don't want to. We keep the lights on to 1.5 million homes and manufacturing in New York, in Michigan, and in Minnesota. If he wants to destroy our economy and our families, I will shut down the electricity going down to the U.S. And I'm telling you, we will do it. It's unfortunate. I would rather ship you more electricity, ship you more critical minerals. I want to ship you more energy, more potash to keep your farmers going, and uranium that you use for your nuclear power. It comes through from Saskatchewan over to Ontario, and it's going to be a massive, massive problem.
Now, Doug Ford is a right-wing Canadian freak. But these are the type of people. These are the type of people that are being empowered to attack the U.S. That's crazy. Oh, and electricity prices have absolutely skyrocketed in the Northeast.
I'm telling you, we love the Canadians love Americans. I love the U.S. Everyone does. And not one American friend. When I lived there for 20 years, I've talked to all of them. Hardcore Republicans are saying this is the biggest mistake President Trump has done, and we're dead against it. And I've yet to find one who supports him.
And so if I'm hearing you correctly, you are ready, sir, to go to war, to go to a trade war with the United States, with the Trump administration.
It's the last thing we want to do. It's one person that's coming to attack us economically. Your closest friend, your treasured ally that will stand shoulder to shoulder with you in every situation you've faced. And he's attacking the person, his number one customer. There's no country in the world that buys more products off the U.S. than we do. We're the number one trading customer to 28 states. And a lot of them are red states. They're going to feel the pain like they've never felt before. We're going to feel the pain. But I'll tell you, Canadians are resilient. We're strong. We're proud. And we're going to fight back like they've never seen before. And I'm sorry to the American people that your president has decided to do this. I apologize, but he's giving us no choice. There's nothing wrong with our trading. He keeps saying, oh, they're taking money. No, that's not accurate. Matter of fact, if you take out our oil, that you take 4.3 million barrels a day, and we keep things going, outside of that, take the energy to the side, you have a $55 billion surplus, which is good. That's fine. America has a $55 million process, and I mean, 55 billion more in trade, and God bless them. We want to expand the trade. We want to create an AMCAN fortress, the two greatest countries in the world. We have what you need. We want to ship more what you need. And I'll be very frank, this is nothing like this ever in the history of the U.S.
You have taken a very strong stance here today. Have you had conversations about your perspective, your action plan with the Prime Minister, with the folks in the Capitol there?
Numerous times. I've talked to the Prime Minister up to a couple days ago. I'm the chair of the Federation, meaning the chair of all the premiers. I've talked to him on a daily basis. We all feel the same way. We do not want to do this. We love the American people. We love the U.S.
Mike, who do you think blinks first in the tariff war? How can the Canadians blink? I mean, how can they blink? They have to do retaliatory tariffs. That's just how it goes. Nobody's blinking.
But when one person attacks our country unprovoked, then we're going to respond, and we're going to respond like the U.S. has never seen before. We do $1.3 trillion of two-way trade, and we're like a big family between U.S. and Canada.
So we're almost out of time here, but we know that President Trump posted on social media that drugs are pouring into the U.S. from both Canada and Mexico, despite no evidence really to back that up. If this is his pretense for imposing tariffs, What should Canada do in response? How do you start to right the ship here in this relationship?
Well, first of all, Secretary Lutnick came out and said, yes, we're moving forward. I agree. Let's tighten up the borders on both sides. We put 10,000 personnel along our borders. And it works both ways. We're working with the DEA. We're working with U.S. Border Patrol, with our Canadian Border Patrol. We're ramping it up because we're seeing, so far in the last couple of weeks, we've busted 624 kilos of cocaine coming from the southern border, endless amounts of guns. Illegals are coming across. I agree with President Trump. Let's both tighten up the borders, and we're doing it. You know, your borders are Holman. He seems to be satisfied because we're showing results. We're listening and we're agreeing with the administration. We need to tighten up both sides of the border, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Okay, we will leave it there for now. Ontario Premier Doug Ford, sir, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Love the Americans. God bless America and God bless Canada. Do not let your president do this, or plants will be shutting down within a week.
All right, thank you, sir.
When he says southern border, is he referring to the U.S. or Mexico? He's a Canadian, so he's referring to his American border.
Not coming from the government per se, but the premier. It's coming from the health sector. Holy Christ. I just swallowed a bee. Holy Christ. I knew that little bugger. I'm good. He's down here buzzing around right now. He has a lot of real estate. Now, if that wasn't a clip, okay, this is going to be replayed over and over again. Holy Christ, he's wedged to my throat. Sorry, guys. Little bugger got away in there.
As a result of Trump's tariffs at 12:01 a.m., Irving Oil, a major refinery based in St. John, New Brunswick, Canada, adjusted fuel prices on nearly all fuel heading for the U.S. Northeast market to reflect a 10% tariff. Look for the retail prices to react quickly in this market. We can't watch this clip because it's a Hasan clip. We need a mirror. Seeing non-American right-wings crying about their daddy Trump shitting on their countries is pretty funny. Yeah, it is pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
That is the way it's going to lead. What can Canada do next? We will find out more at 10:30. But one thing that is on the table is either adding a levy that Canada would charge more for the United States for any hydropower, gas, natural gas they take from Canada. So putting a levy on that. And also perhaps restricting supplies, which would be an incredibly serious move.
Zazman, thank you.
El Financiero se publica la última encuesta de la presidenta y nos da mucho orgullo decirles que sigue aumentando su aprobación por parte del pueblo de México. 85% del
85% approval rating, chat, for Claudia Sheinbaum. 85%.
Let me read you some details.
Approval rating. 85, Zazman, I know. 85% approval rating.
La gente la respalda. Y algo bien importante a destacar de la encuesta tiene que ver con los atributos. Nuestro movimiento en Morena hemos siempre dicho que una de las principales características es la honestidad. Y eso es.
Why would a Canadian supplier raise prices before the tariff is applied? The tariff was applied, so they raised prices. All right, somebody found the clip.
Let me read you some details off the list of these bills.
Thoughts on this guy being a tanky? I hope he fucking drives a tank to your house, okay? That's my thoughts on this guy being a tanky. Take a fucking week off and think about how stupid you are as a human being.
In Arkansas.
Yeah, that's about the only response to someone calling you a tanky. Oh shit, I grabbed the chat. Donald Trump's approval rating has finally started to crack. Thank God Donald Trump is a dumb piece of shit. If he was actually an able politician, we would be beyond cooked.
And we're going to look at presidents at this point in their presidency, right? And the word here that I would use to describe Trump is awful. In fact, the only person who does worse than Trump does right now with a +1 net approval rating is himself. Back in 2017 when he was at -8. So he's doing better than he was.
I was going to say, you could spin it another way. He's making gains.
He's making gains, but he's doing worse than everybody else. The average president at this point, get this, +27 points on their net approval rating. Donald Trump is doing historically awful. The only person he beats is, again, himself from term number 1.
How about on the issue that, one, he says he was most elected to fix, and he said he would do it on day one, which would be the economy.
On the economy, well, he beat himself on overall, but on the economy, he can't even beat himself. Again, this is historically the worst going back in polling at this point in a presidency, the net approval rating on the economy. He's right now at -4 points. In term number one,
Hasan is unbanned? No shot. No fucking shot. No fucking shot. That's true. Oh my God. That's incredible. If that's, oh, that's incredible. Oh, that's what we call a W, folks. Oh, that's incredible. That's the fastest unban I've ever seen. That's the fastest unban I've ever seen. Oh my God. We gotta have fun. Oh my God. We gotta, holy shit. Hasan unbanned. Oh my God, that's amazing. I thought my unban was quick. Remember when I got banned for 2 days? You got a 1-day ban. Wait, it isn't even on streamer bans yet. Streamer bans hasn't even loaded yet. Oh my God, dude. Let's fucking go. Holy shit. That's amazing. Oh, that's awesome, dude. I thought he was gonna be banned for like a week. I was like, holy shit. Oh shit. Holy shit. You know what I want to post, chat? Hold on. We gotta post a video. Video response. Let me find. Oh, here it is. We're back, folks. All right, hold on. Honestly, like him being unbanned this fast is gonna drive them even more insane. Oh, that's incredible.
Oh my God, I will go and see Hasan Abi. But people go on to preach no fear no more. Go and see Hasan Abi. If you wanna make America great, subscribe for free to Hasan Abi. Use the pride. Oh my God, I will go and see Hasan Abi.
With the song.
I don't believe in fake news. All I need is the truth. Because I want to love our country. I want to love it just like you. Community. Hasan, make all life good. Hasan, because he loves our country. He loves it just like you. Oh my God, I will go and see.
This guy worked as a club promoter, by the way.
Go and see Hasan Abi.
Mike, you ain't moving much better.
Ay, ay, ay.
Holy shit. Holy shit. I love. Oh, God. This is gonna. Oh, my God. This is incredible. Oh, this is great. Holy shit. I love this. I love trolling, man. This is like. This is where you could just troll by being happy, and they're gonna be so mad. They're gonna be so fucking mad. They're gonna be so fucking mad. All you have to do is just be happy and laugh, and they're gonna be balding. Holy shit! I can't believe he got unbanned already. I didn't even watch his cancellation video. I didn't even get a chance to watch his cancellation video.
What's up, everyone? If you're seeing this, that means I've probably been banned.
But he got unbanned already. Oh my God, dude. The unban already. Bro. We didn't even get time to milk it. I didn't even get time to milk it. I only got 1 day to milk it. I only milked it for 1 day. That's so bullshit. I'm glad he's back. The thing about me is the reason why I succeed is because I have absolutely no jealousy or envy in my heart. It just doesn't exist. So when my friends do better, I'm just like, hell yeah, brother. You do even better. I love boosting people that I'm friends with. It's like my favorite thing when friends of mine succeed or people that I support succeed. And that's, if you are a person and somebody in your life is succeeding, you should be helping them and boosting them and providing and being there for them. That's the single best thing you can do for yourself. Why did Twitch ban him to begin with? I don't even know, honestly. Like, I think it was bullshit, to be honest. But at the same time, like, I think it's a good wake-up call for Hasan that the reality is that Hasan and I have to act as politicians now. This is how cringe the world is. That I can't just be a streamer who says shit. I have to speak like a politician, and he has to speak like a politician. Now, I want to act as authentically as possible, but you know, if I say something about violence or I say something about a joke or something that can be taken out of context, people are going to treat it as if it's me seriously saying it. So I have to speak like that. I have to be aware of that. It's very annoying. It's very stupid. Who gives a shit what I say? I haven't run for office in 11 years. Like, can we take a break? Mate, both of y'all should be politicians. If I tried to run for office, people would be like, he hates America.
Wait for Hasan.
Terrorism, baby. Let's go. Terrorism. Charlie gets it. I have a question for you, buddy. What would you say is the country that's killed the most people in the last 50 years, would you say? What country has killed the most people in the last 50 years? Civilians. What do you think? It's the United States of America, man. We killed millions of Vietnamese people. We killed 4 million people in the war on terror, overwhelmingly civilians. We supported Israel's genocide in Gaza. We supported a genocide in Indonesia. Do you even know about that? Like, the United States of America supports more terrorist organizations, including Al-Qaeda. Well, we didn't support Al-Qaeda directly, but we did support the terrorist movement. Did you know that the Taliban's textbooks were written in the United States? Like, you think that, like, and you know that we're Saudi Arabia's biggest ally. which is the country that did 9/11. So who is the terrorist supporter, right? The guy who criticizes American foreign policy and wants it to obey international law? Or somebody like you? Oh, I was making a joke? Oh, okay, sorry. Well, I just wanted to make a serious point. I was so, I was excited to make a point.
I would have never imagined this much of a fucking crowd at a college campus anywhere in solidarity with the Palestinians. This is what it's about, okay? I did not stop advocating for the cause, and now I don't feel lonely. I don't feel as lonely anymore, and that's because of you guys. I hope that you can continue advocating for the right things.
We love to see it, folks. We absolutely love to see it. Holy shit. This is so great. Okay, can we watch the Hasan I got canceled video? Because it's like running out of relevance. Emma Lavina, we got to watch this. I mean, the unban, the 1 day unban. The 1 day unban. Hasan is making people search Rick Scott. That's awesome, dude. That's so fucking cool.
That's right. Cancel culture has finally come for me. Oh my God, it's over. It's over. The free speech warriors. Where are you now? They've taken me out, ladies and gentlemen. It's over. I'm done. A couple days ago, I had a conversation where I was responding to the Republican House of Representatives Speaker, and I said some things. Let's take a look at what I said. Libs of TikTok, of course, posted about it. Here is what Libs of TikTok claimed I was saying. Hasan Parker just called for violence against a sitting U.S. senator. If you cared about Medicaid fraud, you would kill.
Asmund, Destiny, and Ethan fell to their knees? Oh, definitely. Oh, definitely. They're going to be maulding. They're going to be maulding. They're going to be maulding their asses off, especially Asmongold. Especially Asmongold. And Ethan, of course. But Ethan is like, Asmongold has a career. I may not like what he's doing, but he has a career, and it's not going anywhere, right? There's a lot of conservative losers on the internet who vibe with Asmongold. I may not like Asmongold, but it is what it is, right? But Ethan Klein, like, is not... He's trying to do this thing where he's like, oh, I'm not a Trump supporter, but I hate Hasan, and I'm going to cough up a lung, and I'm too stupid to actually understand American politics or foreign policy, and I'm not a Zionist, but I'm a Zionist. Like, Ethan Klein is in no man's land. The unfunny comedian who wants to tell you how much of a liberal he is. I can't imagine a less popular fucking stream than that. Unfunny failed comedian.
Rick Scott at FBI. This got 17,000 likes. It was on February 28th. Let's take a look at this clip really quickly.
There's about $50 billion estimated that are lost every year in Medicaid, just in fraud alone. No.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott. Okay? You wouldn't make Rick Scott, former governor of Florida, Rick Scott, you wouldn't make him a prominent part of the Republican Party. Now, that seems like a wild thing to say. Oh my God. Is this person...
Okay, chat. I know what I want to... Oh my God. I just had a flash of brilliance. This is what I want to reply.
And then the smell would wake me up. Come on! Just dig it out of my gums.
And I find it to be very disappointing. Social issues, I think, for a lot of gamers, and I find it to be very disappointing to see it whenever I'm watching like a new trailer on my stream. Oh, no, another.
Okay, chat. Hold on. All right, are we ready? Are we ready, chat? I figured it out. This is what I want to do.
What's the probability that the government wants to frame the Tate brothers? Probably 50%. The government frames people all the time. Like, if we've seen anything...
All right, so we're gonna take that clip. That's what we're gonna. That's what I want to reply. Let me go ahead and do this. Hold on. Let me see the one I just created. Let me just open this. Oh no! I started recording too late. Fuck. Okay, we need another recording. Shit. All right, hold on. Let's just back it. I started recording too late. Fuck. I wanted the fuck and the thud.
Protagonist.
You can make clips directly from YouTube. Oh shit, you're right. I forgot about that. Fuck. God damn it, you're right. I forgot about that. Okay, we should do that. You could just do right here. It's clip. I'm such a boomer. You any second now. Anyway, who gives a fuck? We're just gonna go back to this.
Calling for the death
God damn it.
of a
Mike,
U.S.
just download
senator?
this
Of
clip.
course
Okay.
not. I was not calling for the assassination of a U.S. senator. So I went back to figure out the context. Here it is. Let's take a look.
Are people who are covered by Medicaid now
Mike from
going to
Boomertown.
potentially
So true.
lose Medicaid coverage as a result of this?
No, look, the White House has made a commitment. The president said over and over and over, we're not going to touch Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. We've made the same commitment. Now, that said, what we are going to do is go into those programs and carve out the fraud, waste, and abuse and find efficiencies. Couple of examples. You know, there's about $50 billion estimated that are lost every year in Medicaid just in fraud alone. No.
That fraud is not coming from individuals. It's coming from providers. They're not tackling providers. They're not actually going after like false billing. They are trying to cut recipients. If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott. The reason why I'm saying if you cared about Medicare or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott is because, and not make him a prominent part of the Republican Party, is because he to this day is still known as committing the largest Medicare fraud in U.S. history. They want to cut SNAP. They want to cut Medicaid. They want to cut the funding of Medicaid. They want to make it harder for people to receive Medicaid. They don't want to actually go after medical providers or the insurance companies or the nursing homes that are lining their pockets with major donations. Those are the people who actually engage in the fraud. It's not your uncle that's like lying about their condition and stealing money from the government by, you know, going to the doctor or whatever. Okay, so obviously I shouldn't have used hyperbolic language, and there's definitely some ownership that I must take. Some apologies there. I should not have said Mike Johnson should kill Rick Scott. I should have simply said Mike Johnson should punish Rick Scott, perhaps with the, you know, maximum punishment, whatever that would be, for defrauding Medicare and Medicaid for over $1.7 billion. Now, let's talk about the things that he did in this process, because Rick Scott co-founded the Columbia Hospital Corporation, which later merged to a corporation known as...
By the way, chat, my troll posts are just honestly getting more, and they're getting almost... as much interact. Oh, I love this. I posted we run this world because I knew it's like the perfect 4-word sentence to piss off right wingers. It's obviously not true. Like, we have no power whatsoever, but it is the funniest thing I could come up with in the moment.
Columbia/HCA, which eventually became the nation's largest for-profit healthcare company. Rick Scott, who of course also looks like Voldemort, did a lot of things. The company defrauded Medicare, Medicaid, and other federal programs. The U.S. Department of Justice won 14 felony convictions against the company, which was fined $1.7 billion in what was at the time the largest healthcare fraud settlement in United States history.
Now, by the way, chat, like, do you think Asmongold cares about that? Asmongold cares about nothing. You have to understand something. Asmongold doesn't even care that Hasan said that what he said. It's just about posturing for attention. This is the thing that's so annoying, is that none of these guys care about any of this shit. Honest to God, don't even know what motivates him to talk about this stuff. I mean, I guess more attention. It's easy attention. He has a large audience. He sits at the top of the algorithm. I mean, it does say something really interesting around conservatism, that Asmongold is their avatar, right? Like, Hasan is the avatar of the left, and Asmongold is the avatar of the right wing. Like, isn't that incredible? Like, isn't that fucking incredible? Filthy Roach Man versus Adonis with lots of friends. It's crazy.
HCA was defrauding the government.
HCA admitted to things like submitting inflated bills and exaggerating diagnoses to increase Medicare reimbursements.
According to federal investigators, the hospital company systematically defrauded Medicare, Medicaid, and other federal healthcare programs while paying kickbacks to its physicians. Scott, of course, denied any wrongdoing.
Scott pled the fifth 75 times to avoid jail for Medicare fraud.
He didn't go to jail over this. He didn't even get any punishments over this. And Scott's resignation certainly was fantastic. For his pockets, he walked away with $10 million in severance pay, a 5-year consulting contract, and $300 million in stock and options. He is now the wealthiest member of the United States Senate. Rick Scott also in the past apologized, took ownership seemingly over his actions, but since then, in his endless interest in gutting all of these social safety nets so the American poor suffer more, Rick Scott has actually seemingly turned around and thinks that this was political prosecution, pure political prosecution against him.
No, I'm fed up. I watched what happened to me and my company. I've watched what's happened. I've talked to business people over the years, what's happened to them when you have political persecution.
What I was simply trying to say is, Republicans don't care about the actual fraud that takes place in terms of government entitlements programs, in terms of government expenditure, because if they did, they obviously would punish Rick Scott. Rick Scott would not be a prominent fixture of the Republican Party. Rick Scott, who was elected as the governor of Florida after he committed the largest Medicare fraud in U.S. history at the time.
$73 million. That's the amount that we know about so far that Scott and the Republican Party spent on TV advertising.
Rick Scott, who then went on to become the Florida senator.
On Sunday, a manual recount confirmed Republican Governor Rick.
So many haters in here right now. Are there? I don't even notice. I don't even notice. Are there haters in here? I don't even notice. Like, legitimately. Are there?
Scott's victory over the incumbent Democrat Bill Nelson.
Once again, after doing insane amounts of Medicare fraud.
Elon Musk posted on X his support for Florida Senator Rick Scott for Senate Majority Leader.
This was simply the point. But of course, Republicans want to avoid this point. Asmongold.
Why does it take Hasan being banned for Ostonox to do something? Because Ostonox is his own person and his own creative person, and he's working on stuff that he wants to work on. That's why.
For those of you who don't know, is a right-wing political commentator.
The writer saying that the unbanning proves that Xi has the Twitch's CEO's number saved in his contacts. I wish Xi cared about us. I wish he did. I'm doing this for free. But maybe he, they're smart enough to understand, I'm not Tim Pool. I'm not being paid millions of dollars to, advocate for Russia, right? I just look at China and go, wow, they've built 40,000 kilometers of high-speed rail in 20 years. They have built like 40 metro stations, metro systems that are bigger than the New York City subway system. Wow, they have raised 700, 800 million people out of poverty. Wow, they're building more solar and renewable energy than every other country on the nation and every other country on the world combined, That's all I look at. I read Xi Jinping thought and say, that kind of makes sense to me. Seems like a reasonable, pragmatic, and moderate approach to politics. You know, it's not. That's about it.
He does have some centrist opinions every now and then. I believe he himself actually is a big advocate for healthcare.
Honestly, Xi Jinping is the only real moderate in the entire world. Like, let's be honest. He's the only real moderate. Every other moderate is fake. And what I mean by that is he just does stuff that seems like it makes sense. He says, okay, what should we do for right now to accomplish this goal? And then they do it. I mean, it's pretty moderate. I would probably say he's too moderate. James Wade showed his local subway station in Beijing. He's doxing himself.
So this is the new line 12. You can see we got some birds. And brand new.
Wow.
Well lit. So this is completely empty, beautiful. We got safety, no smoking station. What a time to be alive, huh? So
he says the cool thing about China is they plan for the future. Here you can see that the subway doesn't operate at max capacity. They can add more cars later if ridership increases.
Anticipating adding more cars to the train. So right now you have this built station, but you see that the doors are all blocked. And this sign probably says they're closed. But if I go down here, I can catch the train. So
the next station is apparently
you could just kind of like look at the driver
The next station is
as they're driving. I've never seen a train that new in my life. Jealous. Oh, by the way, chat. Wait, did I close it? Instead of like liking and retweeting? Okay. I'm retweeting James Wade's videos. James Wade, make better videos. James Wade, make better videos and make more videos. Hasan unbanned already. I know, it's amazing.
Likes Bernie Sanders, but spends most of his time simply sitting around and reacting to Donald
I don't think
Trump.
he likes Bernie Sanders. I don't think Asmongold is smart enough to really understand politics. And I mean that as a direct attack on his intelligence. Like, I legitimately don't think that he's smart enough to understand politics. Like, if we had a conversation and we sat down and he didn't have an iPad or he didn't have a monitor to like Google on the other screen, or he didn't have ChatGPT, I don't think he could have a conversation with me about politics. And I don't mean that as like I would destroy him, just like kind of like basic ideas about like how the systems function, what the various alliances are in the world, like world history. Like, I think he might know World War II stuff because, like, I think Asmongold is smarter than, say, like, Tectone, right? Like, he might know about the European theater of World War II, right? Like, he might know about that. But as far as, like, other history, I don't think he would know much. Maybe I'm wrong. Please explain to Governor Trudeau of Canada that when he puts on a retaliatory tariff on the U.S., our reciprocal tariff will immediately increase by a like amount. So Trump is threatening to raise tariffs to 50% on Canada now? He's going to 50% on Canada now? Is that what he's saying? Or does he not know what reciprocal amount means? Or reciprocal tariff means? Oh, I love pissing off. I love pissing off right-wingers. I love them. I love pissing them off. They're so funny. The best part about right-wingers is they have absolutely no smoke. They have absolutely no smoke. The only people that have less smoke than right-wingers are Ethan Klein fans.
Trump, he is now officially, by my estimations, a larger right-wing political commentator than even the likes of Ben Shapiro. Very successful in this field. His videos reacting to Donald Trump get millions of views, more so.
Maybe I'm crazy, but I do think that if Bernie Sanders had won, Asmongold's brain would be better because he would have gotten like the mental health treatment he needs. And it would have just been more popular to be left-wing as young men in general. And I think like because of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, it has become unpopular to be left-wing among a lot of young men because Bernie Sanders was kind of like the left-wing young man's guy and he got fucking owned. And Americans just don't like losers. And Bernie Sanders lost.
than the Daily Wire could ever dream of. Asmongold also is the largest political content creator on Twitch in general. He's the largest political streamer now. He's double my size. He's always been double my size, but he's now double my size when it comes to political commentary as well. So let's see what the largest free speech defender had to say. He actually voluntarily brings this up in a YouTube video called "What the Fuck is Twitch Doing?" The YouTube video is from 2 days ago with 1 million views. The first 13 minutes of it is just reacting to the latest Ethan Klein video, who is falsely smearing me as someone who doesn't care about Israeli civilians or whatever, which is obviously incorrect, but we'll get to that perhaps down the line. He packaged that up with the Libs of TikTok video to call for my banning.
Let me see if I can find it here. Like I do, as I said, I do try to maintain a degree of neutrality with a lot of this stuff. And I try not to go too like super hard on it. I'll link you guys the video real quick before I get into it. And
he's linking the Ethan Klein video to his audience because, you know, to show support.
Yeah, there's the video. It's the Ethan video.
Perhaps this is the reason why Ethan Klein doesn't talk about Asmongold and his apologia for certain regimes of the past. You know, Ethan.
Oh my God, the anger. Oh man, the anger, chat. All right. I was trying to look up a right winger who was complaining, but he said he lost his check mark for supporting Trump, and I wanted to look up his Twitch account, but I couldn't find it because I wanted to make fun of it. He did everything right, and he was acquitted. He did everything right, and he was acquitted.
Ethan, who really cares about anti-Semitism, of course. That's why he...
Do parents know their children are casually watching neo-Nazis online? I doubt it.
Constantly comes after me, someone he knows has a long track record, alongside him at times, attacking anti-Semites and explaining to people what famous dog whistles are and things of that nature. But that'll be for a different day.
People are so ideologically captured, it's sad. I think a lot of people are. I saw this the other day, actually this morning. Where is it here? Here we go.
Dan can't tweet. Dan can't stream.
Dan Clancy.
Asmongold is such a fucking coward, dude. Like, legitimately a bitch. Dan can't stream. That's your source guy. Diddy Dan? Give me a fucking break, man.
Time to wish Hasan another happy birthday song, you hack fuck. Anyone else will get permabanned on Twitch for this. This is beyond the pale. This is enticing your audience to kill a sitting senator. Don't people go to jail for this? This is not me enticing my audience to kill a sitting U.S. senator. That is ridiculous. Everybody knows that that is ridiculous. The people that are complaining about this know that that is ridiculous. But I'm glad that I was able to show you the context, the full context of what I was talking about. If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott, okay? You wouldn't make Rick Scott, former governor of Florida, Rick Scott, you wouldn't make him a prominent part of the Republican Party.
I'm just mad that I wasn't able to milk it more. You know, Chad? I was milking the shit out of it. This guy gets banned for one fucking day. I barely can milk. It's some bullshit. Like, I milked the fuck out of it yesterday, dude. Like, look at this shit. Look at these milks. I did a 9-hour stream. We had 5,256 average viewers. We had 79 max viewers. 56,000 uniques. We had 4,805 unique chatters. That's crazy. And we had 149,555 live views and almost 1,000 new followers. Twitch was like, oh shit. They saw my stream was like communist propaganda. They were like, unban Hasan, unban Hasan, unban Hasan. Oh God, unban Hasan. And 856 new subscriptions. Oh my God. Woo! Hey! Cha-ching, baby! That's some champagne crazy. Socialism right there.
That is nuts. And I've said before, there's a statute of limitations, but apparently this was yesterday. Yeah, this happened yesterday.
What does he think a threat is? Like, why do these fuckers who never finished school think they understand the criminal law? Saying if you cared about Medicare fraud, you would kill Rick Scott is not saying everybody should go out and kill Rick Scott. It's not saying I'm going to kill Rick Scott. Those are completely different sentences. Why do they, like, what? Don't you get embarrassed from being this stupid?
Oh my God. How's that not against the TOS? It is. And it is an open call to violence.
No, it's not. Asmongold is so butthurt he got 2-week ban for saying that Arabs are an inferior culture who should be genocided, or he wouldn't care if they are genocided, that he's now, and by the way, his entire career of, I'm going to enforce the TOS. Shut the fuck up. I honestly think we should start making fun of people for complaining about this shit. Oh, you were mean to a politician. Oh, you were mean to a politician. Shut your fucking mouth, you bitch-ass loser. Oh, no, she broke the TOS. There was too much cleavage. You're an adult man. Shut up.
And I would challenge anybody who thinks that it's not an open call to violence to say that exact thing about Donald Trump, and then tell me if Secret Service
Did Donald Trump commit massive amounts of Medicare fraud? And it's different. You're not allowed to say. I mean, I'll explain it to you, chat. Like, Asmongold is dumb.
Hi, I'm Trevor Moore. Did you know that it's illegal to say I want to kill the President of the United States of America? It's illegal. It's a federal offense. It's one of the only sentences that you're not allowed to say. Now, it was okay for me to say it right then because I was just telling you that it's illegal to say I want to kill the President of the United States of America. I'm not actually saying it. I'm just letting you know that it's illegal to say that. It's kind of like a public service. I'm letting you know so that you don't accidentally go out and say something like that. But what's interesting is that it's very illegal to say, I really, really think someone out there should kill the President of the United States of America. That's illegal. Extremely illegal. Very, very illegal. But not illegal.
By the way, Chad, that would qualify as an incitement to violence. That would qualify as an incitement to violence. If you said that, and that would get you in trouble. And that rightfully, that would get you in trouble. But that's not what Hasan said. Hasan was saying Mike Johnson would do this if he cared. This is not saying you should do it. Like, I mean, do we even have to explain this? And yeah, is it an edgy way of phrasing it? Is it hyperbolic? Yes. Welcome to rhetoric. Does Asmongold really want to say we can't use hyperbolic language? Is that really what he's trying to do? Is that his fantasy world? That's the language. That's the world he wants to live in.
Illegal to say with a mortar launcher, because that's its own sentence. It's an incomplete sentence, but it may have nothing to do with the sentence before that. So that's perfectly fine, perfectly legal. I also found out that it's incredibly illegal, extremely illegal to go on television and say something like the best place to fire a mortar launcher at the White House would be from the roof of the Rockefeller Hewitt building because of minimal security and you'd have a clear line of sight to the president's bedroom. Insanely illegal. Ridiculously, recklessly, insanely illegal. Yet even more illegal to show an illustrated diagram. Insanely illegal, ridiculously, horribly felonious, because they will come to your house in the middle of the night and they will lock you up. Extremely against the law. One thing that is technically legal to say is that we have a group that meets Fridays at midnight under the Brooklyn Bridge, and the password is 6 Semper Tyrannis.
Whitest Kids You Know, classic show, chat. Classic comedy show.
Goes up at your house or not. Really? It's very obviously a call to violence. And Twitch doesn't do anything? Well, I don't know if they've really seen it or anybody's reported it or anything like that.
I think Asmongold is covering this because he wants Twitch to see it. He's done this a couple times in the past.
This is what Asmongold is Destiny's sock puppet. Like, you know what I mean? Mike, if I fart in a bag and send it to you, will you open it and smell it? Next time I see you, I'm going to literally fart in your face. I'm going to literally fart in your face. I'm going to make your fucking mustache hairs blow back with how hard I'm going to fart in your face. Fucking Nandre. You're going to taste what I ate the day before. You're going to be like, oh, wow, you had corn cheese at Quarters. Delightful. Kimchi fried rice. You're a nasty motherfucker. Nandre came in here with farting in a bag bullshit. I'm just dropping the nuke. I Tsar Bomba people here. Hints of honeydew. Oh, by the way, Nandre, I finally started watching Severance. I think we're on like episode 4 or 5, me and Vio. This would be Nandre's response.
So in tasting, what we do is take a small amount right off the top. It doesn't take much. That's the warmest part right here. I'm going to invert the spoon. cover all 9,000 taste buds, aerate it, warm it up, driving up that top milk, that cream, pure vanilla, sweeteners. That's a 10.
Honestly, like I'm gonna eat ice cream like this from now on. I'm gonna do that. Anytime I eat ice cream, I'm doing this from now on. Like a life change has been achieved. So Nandre, don't you think that the worst part of the Hasan unban is the fact that I only got to milk it for 2 streams? Like, isn't that bullshit? I could have milked the fucking shit. I didn't even get one. That's because you don't stream enough. Stream more, Nandre. The moment Hasan was banned, I was like, Hasan Abi banned, refugees in. The moment I heard, I was like, oh no, he's getting banned. Type. And I was right in the replies, glazing. Right off the bat. I was driving cross country. Oh no, are you going towards LA or towards somewhere else? Don't worry, I'm sure Asmongold will brigade Twitch again. They don't care. They literally don't care. Flaky and I have landed a chat. I want you to know that Nandre's significant other is so much cooler than Nandre. Nandre's significant other is a Mike fan. And like that tells you right off the bat, she's cool as hell. She's cool as hell. Nandre is a Mike hater. Nah, I think Nandre's pretty ambivalent. He's a Mike ambivalent person, you know. He's like, yeah, I could take him or leave him. She watches for the ads and VO raids. I don't even run ads. Flaky enjoyers in. So true. I'm a Mike fan, so I'm cool. Yes. I'm excited. Nandre. That's cool. We should go out and get some dinner sometime soon. All right, let's keep going. I'm an independent and I'm bringing back being an independent. I was actually registered as an independent for the 2024 election. And then I switched back just so I could vote. So I could vote in primaries. But I was an independent. I deregistered as a Democrat because I hated Kamala Harris so much. Yeah, but I'm making it fashionable. Have you seen my shirt? This is fashion. I'm fashion forward. Like, look at this shirt. You can't buy this off the rack at your local Marshalls. Wait, you probably can. This is probably something I got at Marshalls. So Trump is all your fault. When I went on Hasan's stream, I was like, I voted PSL, fuck Kamala, in front of all the libs. And they lost their shit. And I don't regret it. I'd do it again.
Last couple of weeks, I understand. We are ideologically butting heads on Twitch. Asmongold and I disagree vehemently.
I don't think Asmongold is ideological. I think Asmongold is your standard populist fascist dope. I don't think ideology even enters into what he's talking about. I don't think he thinks about politics in that way. I think that Asmongold looks at politics as a source of money and power. And that's fundamentally what a fascist is. A fascist just looks at politics as a way to get shit. And he doesn't care about anything else but that. And he'll use whatever manipulative tactic he can to get shit. And like, ultimately, politics is about getting shit. It is really about that. But I mean by himself and personally for himself. It's not about anything greater than that. Whereas I want to get shit for working class people and the people that actually produce the value of our society. He wants to get shit for himself. He just wants attention. Asmongold is a really interesting character. I think that his brain should be and his psychology should be studied. I think there's a lot that could be learned from Asmongold. Like, I legitimately think Asmongold is a creature that we should study.
A lot of issues, all the way from the history of Nazi Germany down to the fact that immigrants are not actually contributing to the American crime rates in the way that the Republican administration presents it. They're not destroying our culture in the way that Asmongold approaches the subject matter. There's plenty of disagreements there. And I think that he's doing this deliberately, I will say, in an effort to, shit stir a little bit and try to get me banned, which worked.
The clip's too short. Maybe it's out of context. I hope so. I definitely do. Hopefully it's out of context.
He doesn't give a shit. Go look at the VOD, you lazy sack of fucking shit.
Now,
what a lazy asshole. Go look at the VOD. You're a Twitch streamer. Go to Hasan's page. Go to the VOD. Ask the 40,000 people to give you a clip of the VOD and go watch the entire clip, you lazy ass sack of shit.
Once he said this, does Asmongold go back and seek out the context? No, he doesn't. Instead, He follows through, basically packaging this as a Hasan is a radical who must be banned. It's a joke, Lamau, he responds to.
Would you tell that joke about Donald Trump?
I think people would tell way crazier jokes about Donald Trump. And people have told way crazier jokes about Donald Trump.
What the fuck is he trying to say here? First of all, I hate Donald Trump, but he never stole $1.5 billion from Medicare. All right, like he is a scumbag, but he never stole $1.5 billion from Medicare and scammed a bunch of, now he's probably going to do worse. Or 1.7, excuse me. So it's not even relevant to what we're talking about.
My statement was hyperbolic. That much is obviously clear. But the intention of it was not a call to violence directly against a sitting senator, but instead was to show the hypocrisy of the Republican Party in terms of how little they truly care about Medicare and Medicaid fraud, because that happens at the point of the provider and not necessarily in the point of the recipients. They want to cut Medicare and Medicaid for the recipients to the tune of $800 billion. And in order to justify that, they will do everything in their power to lie and claim that it's actually your grandparents that are stealing from Medicare and not people like Rick Scott. Because people like Rick Scott either fund the Republican Party and oftentimes the Democratic Party as well, or they sometimes run for office as Republicans.
Rick Scott has won re-election to the United States Senate. Here are the numbers.
That's the point. Now, should the likes of Asmongold seek out further context? I think yes. I think when you have millions of people watching your videos, it would be nice to at least inform them of what the true context is. And now that this context exists, will Asmongold watch this video? Will he go back and say, hey, my bad? Maybe. I'll be honest. Perhaps he will do that. We shall see.
Donald Trump didn't commit Medicare fraud, but yes, if he did, then yes. Okay, so then no.
He then follows up with another tweet of mine. This isn't Hasan's only first foray into political violence. This was the weapon used to assassinate Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Archive link and reply to his now deleted post. Well, I didn't delete it. Twitter.
This has to be the greatest scheme of all time. Asmongold and Hasan Abe have effectively monetized people screaming at their computer screens. I think the difference is you compare Asmongold and Hasan as equivalents, and they're not. Asmongold is not a politically educated person, and he's not involved in politics beyond reacting to videos. Okay, Hasan and myself are educated, have been involved directly with various groups and politicians for a better part of a decade. And we have relationships with politicians and journalists and movements. That's the difference between me and Asmongold, okay? And Hasan and Asmongold. You're creating a false equivalence between the two. Yes, he talks about politics. And that's, guess what? It's a free fucking country. If he wants to talk about politics, he gets to talk about politics. But equating them because they are both streamers that talk about politics and then ending the inquiry there is laziness on your part. And yeah, I mean, like, I'll give you an example that maybe you can understand. Maybe it's a boomer example, but one of the most important political commentators in American history was a fat, bulbous opioid addict by the name. Oh, fuck. What is his name? I've forgotten his name. Oh, my God. I can see his fat face dying of his opioid and going blind or deaf from his opioids. Rush Limbaugh. Thank you. Jesus fucking Christ. I can't believe I forgot his name. Rush Limbaugh. And he was just a fucking fat sack of shit who would do a 3-hour radio show Monday to Friday. Rest in piss. But he was incredibly influential. A lot of people listened to him and then listened to his takes and then voted the way that he directed them to vote. That is how politics works. You have voices that people listen to. And this is the new format that Zoomers and millennials and most people are shifting to. Political or other streams. So everybody who whines and complains about, you know, people talking about politics on stream, shut your fucking mouth, you loser fuck. Go talk about your anime or whatever the fuck you do. Go complain that there's a black samurai or whatever the fuck you do. Go change the goddamn channel. You don't like it? Change the fucking channel.
Forced me to delete this.
But I'll tell you this, it's not the first time. This is the second time. No joke. Yes, neither of these, by the way, have resulted in any sort of action from Twitch at all. Your Reddit advocated for killing too. Sorry for spam. Yeah, but here's the difference, right? When did my Reddit advocate for killing people? When did this happen? And also, when did I advocate for it?
He also then, to further push the narrative that I am a radical, a scary radical who advocates for violence, he shows this tweet briefly my old tweet that Twitter actually forced me to ban, which is a tweet where I quote retweeted sitting U.S. Senator Tom Cotton, who was advocating to kill peaceful pro-Palestinian demonstrators all the way from April 16th, 2024, almost an entire year ago, where I famously quote retweeted the doohickey, or I guess a meme of a doohickey that was responsible for the assassination of Shinzo Abe. Now, of course, this wasn't serious. I fib. I did this in response to a sitting U.S. senator who had previously in the New York Times written about executing Black Lives Matter protesters by using the military. And this time around, April 15th, was encouraging people. I'm going to read you his words. Senator Tom Cotton said this: I encourage people who get stuck behind the pro-Hamas mobs blocking traffic. Take matters into your own hands to get them out of the way. It's time to put an end to this nonsense.
Did you guys see that really hilarious tweet with Kaya? Can someone link it to me? The hater tweet. It was my favorite reaction. Can you guys link me that? I want to show it. I can't find it. I'm not really looking either, but I've got 6,000 of you. So you, what of you fuckers can do my work for me? Hurry up. Hurry the fuck up. Why are you linking Discord links? Are you fucking insane?
Holy shit, finally Hasan Piker banned on Twitch. Let's go. Now he'll finally have to go outside. Anyways, permaban, please, permaban. Holy shit, finally Hasan Piker banned on Twitch. Let's go. Now he'll finally have to go outside. Anyways, permaban, please, permaban.
She's so cute. I'm a Kaya fan. I'm such a Kaya fan. I'm such a dog guy. I'm such a 40-year-old man. I'm such a dog guy. This is me.
The hell is that?
A cat.
Shut up. We are not keeping them.
Can you come here for a second?
You stay right here. What's going on with the dog?
We're not returning the dog. That's that.
We're keeping the dog, but there's going to be some ground rules. He is your dog. You feed him. You walk him. He humps your pillow, not mine. I want this dog potty trained by the time I get back from the hardware store. What he does to the carpet, I'm doing to your PS5. Come here, Hank. What? You named him Hank? You're supposed to name him after something you like pickled eggs or Prilosec. We got a lot of good wood in this house. You know what these things do? They chew. Ow! God! Come here. All right, see, you got some treats. Sit. There you go. Shake. Good. And you look me in the eyes when you shake. It makes better eye contact than you. Oh, I know you're not sitting on that couch. That's what I thought. Paws off. Do I need to put this in language you'll understand? That's what I thought. You come at the king, you best not miss. You gotta be kidding me. I specifically remember saying, we got a lot of good wood in this house and he is not to chew. Don't you dare give me that look.
Dad, he didn't mean it.
25 teeth mark in this. I think he meant it. I'm not Sarah McLachlan, pal. It's gonna take a lot more than $2 a day to save your sorry ass. He is gone. Ow, I love you, Hanky. Oh, you're such a good dog. Come here, buddy. You are the son I never had. Yeah. Oh, you're still here? Hey, go take the garbage out, for God's sakes.
Sag. Did you see the Zoran Romeo? What?
This Tuesday marks a new stage in the campaign, petitioning. That's when each mayoral campaign has to collect 3,750 signatures over a month to get their candidate's name on the ballot. But we don't just want to be on the ballot. We want to win this race.
In my room
That's why we're setting ourselves a goal of 10,000 signatures in 6 days. So that starts on Tuesday and continues every single day after that. But we need your help and Thelma's to actually hit that number.
Thelma?
So please head to ZahranforNYC.com/events and sign up for a canvas.
Everybody who likes black dogs is in my camp. By the way, do you see the lab patience is totally look at her paw. She wants to run so bad, but she's being so good. Look at this.
So that starts on Tuesday and continues every single day after
it
that.
wobbling?
But we need your help and Thelma's to actually hit that number.
Ready to go.
So please head to ZahranforNYC.com/events and sign up for a canvas.
She's ready to go. She's cute. Thank you. Why does this guy have the exact same speech imitation as Mark Zuckerberg? I actually really like Zoran. Oh, by the way, chat, look at this. We're on board, baby. We're on board. I need to send him a message. We need to do like a fundraiser for him in LA. We should do a fundraiser for him in LA. My first ever dog was a flat coat retriever named Moose. He was such a good boy. Yeah. I'm a very I like medium-sized dogs and larger. I like working dogs. You know, high intellect dogs. The ones that you could see like having the ones that have opinions on things. You know what I mean? Mike, did you see this post? Under President at real Donald Trump, colleges and universities will be held accountable. Anti-Semitism and anti-Israel hate will not be tolerated on American campuses. Promises made, promises kept. I honestly hate these fuckers so fucking much. I don't even know what to say. I hate them so fucking much. You have no idea. Like a lot of the times I like hold my tongue about Republicans because what Hasan said about Tom Cotton or Rick Scott is it's cotton candy compared to what I think about these fucking people. They're scum. They're fucking scum. What do you think about people who give pets silly names? I think that any type of name of a dog is legitimate. I like person names for my dogs, but if you want to call your dog Mustard, go for it. Mike, I don't hate cats. I respect cats. And that's what they want. That's what they want. That's why cats like the people that respect them. So if you like cats, the best thing you could do is just be like aloof and let them come to you when they're ready. And then they'll be your friend. If you go to them, they're going to be like, whoa, this person's a bit much. And they're going to be like, fuck this guy. And they're going to leave. If you just chill and you respect them, they will be like, oh, this guy's cool. And they'll come over and check you out. So I respect cats because that's what they want. He did everything right and he was acquitted. People are so mad. People are the best thing I can do, and I mean this, and I just want to thank Ethan Klein and I want to thank Asmongold for basically making me one of the biggest streamers in the world. I want to thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, like, I get more viewers than people with millions of subscribers. Thank you for making my, like, 90,000 viewers the most loyal viewers on the entire website. It's so awesome. And the thing is, like, people have to seek me out to find me. I don't get the big raids because of the time of day I stream in. Not a lot of people are, like, ending their stream at the time that I am streaming. I streamed intentionally to try to figure out what was the place where there was the most demand for more streaming, especially in my category. Other people have copied me because they realized how right I was, and they've built really good careers just by copying me, which is fine. Like, I actually encourage it. I want 1,000 flowers to bloom. I want people that have a slightly different vibe than me streaming. I like having people that are different personalities than me and have different perspectives and insights streaming. I like that. It's not that big a deal. The bigger the leftist space is, the better. I used to like you that I didn't like you, but now I've come crawling back because you're the only one who's been right about everything. Why didn't you like me? What did I do that made you mad? I found you via the suggested content tab on the Twitch front page. Believe it or not, I moved from the West Coast to the East Coast and I needed a morning stream to watch. LOL. Yes. And by the way, like, I would say this. I don't know this for a fact, but I will say that I feel like Twitch as a platform has become more like at least neutral toward me than they were before. I think before they were more skeptical of me and they were worried about me as a streamer on the platform. They thought of me as a risk. But because of the way that people have attacked Twitch, they've kind of like radicalized against those people. And so that made them like me more. You know what I mean? Sort of like a friend, the enemy of your enemy is your friend. Like, I think they kind of like went more neutral toward me. They still think of me as like a risky streamer or whatever, but I think they're more neutral toward me because the people that have attacked Twitch hate. So they're like, you know, they're kind of like more. It's really backfired, is what I'm saying. I just found you 20 minutes ago because Hasan isn't live. Yeah, hell yeah, brother. That's the plan. Excuse me.
This was, of course, a direct call to violence from a sitting senator, a direct call to violence against peaceful protesters engaging in an act of civil disobedience.
If something like this happened in Arkansas on a bridge there, let's just say I think there'd be a lot of very wet criminals that have been tossed overboard, not by law enforcement, but by the people whose road they're blocking.
I have 90K unique. So I have like probably like 20 or 30K.
There's something really disgusting happening right now. On the Snark subreddit, the top post right now, is dedicated.
Oh, we're the North Star. Like, so many people are blowing up because of Ethan Klein. North Star Radio, Bad Empanada, Denims, myself, Sean DeBlack, Gremlo. I mean, Vio is seeing an increase. Like, all the people who are just like, yeah, we're not scared of you. They're just blowing the fuck up. The Do Not Worry podcast. Like, no, like everyone is blowing the fuck up. Like, it's not working at all. It's crazy. How many careers he's making. Polly Market is now replying to Hasan. Hasanabi unbanned from Twitch by Thursday. Oh, I could have made so much money. Sweet Chariot, 3.4K, yes. Not happening. Last ban was 7 days. Oh man, Polly Market, that's good advertising, honestly. Really good advertising.
Holy shit, finally Hasan Piker banned on Twitch. Let's go. Now he'll finally have to go outside. Anyways, permaban, please, permaban. Holy shit.
They picked the perfect Kaya voice.
Doubled down on it and said, we do things differently around these parts. I mean, he's advocating for a direct call for violence. I jokingly retweeted that statement with
post the view count of Hasan's YouTube video and H3's most recent podcast episode. Okay, I'm going to ban you if this isn't interesting. I'm legitimately going to ban you if this isn't interesting. So this better be fucking interesting. Okay. Is this the one Hasan got banned? Atomic Hot Wings? Is that it? Young Roll with the risky, but he's safe. Young Roll. Hasan got 706,000 views on his canceled video, which is double the views, excuse me, of the last H3 podcast. They're at 345,000 views. The harassment campaign video. Oh no. Am I the a-hole? I can't handle this anymore. One of the things that's really interesting is they talk about me a lot, but they don't put me in the thumbnail. I'm so offended. EO made me cheese. What's it called? It's like cooked cheese, Brazilian style with honey. Wow. That's really gonna make me fat, but thank you. Thank you, VO. Anyways, keep going.
The doohickey. But of course, that was apparently bridge too
I
far
almost
as well.
cried. Oh yeah, I wasn't gonna ban you. I was just kidding.
Well, for Asmongold, I'm sorry. I've offended Asmongold's sensibilities. Of course, no comments on Tom Cotton, a sitting U.S. senator, actively urging his constituents to go out and kill peaceful demonstrators who are, dare I say, peacefully demonstrating against a genocide. Well, make no mistake, it's most likely that Asmongold is simply responding to the things that he sees in his chat. Having said that, I wanted you guys to see the full context of the story. I was obviously not asking for people to kill Rick Scott. I think that would be ridiculous. I think that justice should be served, however, and justice has not been served against Rick Scott in this case. Justice rarely ever gets served against rich people who exploit others, against rich people who defraud the federal government.
Is good. Damn,
we
Vito,
got a $10 million care package with $300 million in stock options for defrauding poor people. Absolutely need this medical care. And then Republicans will turn around and act like the real fraud is happening at the point of the recipients and not the point of the providers.
There's about $50 billion estimated that are lost every year in Medicaid just in fraud alone. No one's for that. We've got to make sure we eliminate it. We have the algorithms now to do that. We have advanced technology to find it.
Thank God for Speaker Johnson.
That is my anger. That is my...
Okay, I gotta do more direct-to-cam YouTube videos. God damn, dude. Fully monetized. 22% click-through rate. 22.2. What the fuck? That's insane. Average view duration 8 minutes. Bro is cooking.
My frustration, and every single person, not Asmongold, but every single Republican operative online, from Tim Pool to Libs of TikTok to many others, know that that is the reality. But they also want you to be distracted. They don't want you to realize that this is what the Republicans are doing. So I urge all liberals, progressives, or even people who are worried about their grandparents or their parents losing their health care, people who might be worried about their children no longer being able to receive Medicaid, to focus on who the vectors of harm truly are, what they're actually doing, instead of constantly engaging in petty squabbles. I shouldn't have used the term kill. I should have used either the term capital punishment or just punishment in general. But once again, I've let you down. I've used...
Just say he should go to prison. Just say he should go to prison. Like, what are you doing, man?
Hyperbolic language, and that hyperbolic language has brought trouble my way. As one of the largest progressive, leftist, political content creators online in what feels like is a sea of reactionary sentiment, I am promising you that I will try to use more deliberate and more careful language going forward. Having said that, of course, in an 8 to 10 hour broadcast, when I'm constantly in a contentious battle with members of the chat, because there's always free flow conversation and a lot of back and forth going on in the community, there will probably be some moments that are clippable, but I will try to minimize them to the best of my ability. On that note, I love you all, and I will see you when I'm unbanned.
Which I guess is today. Raising 800K from about 1,500 donors from 26,000 live viewers is an insane click-through rate that advertisers, organizers would kill for. Yeah. He's one of the most... That's the thing about us. Like, I would say that Hasan and I are the least botted streamers on the entire website. Like, if you actually go and watch our streams, you see a lot of active chat. You know, people are constantly clicking through to what we recommend. They're subscribing, they're donating. And there are a lot of other streamers who have the deadest fucking chats I've ever seen. And it's a little bit crazy.
So what's your take? I think if you pay rent, you should own a little bit of that property. 100% agree. Because if I'm helping you pay your mortgage, then what, at the end of the lease, I gotta go? I gotta leave, and then you get your mortgage paid? Well, here's what I will say. When you pay rent, you pay for a roof over your head. But why does someone get to exploit my need for housing and get rich just because I don't? I'm not pro-landlord. And people are gonna say, like, oh, this guy's a loser. Why doesn't he buy his own house? Because I made bad decisions, but I was still working the whole time. I was still working myself to pay your mortgage. And you don't own? I do not own a house. You rent? I'll be renting probably for the rest of my life. How much equity do you think you should get? My wife and I rented this place from a couple, and I think after 2 years we paid like 80 grand, you know, in rent. So give me like 10% of that. 10%? Give me 10% of the gross rent, so like, you know, $8,000. And then at the end of the lease, when you kick me out, which you inevitably will, you get 10% of the gross rent. The gross rent is an investment. Yeah. So you own $8,000 worth of, let's say, $1 million place. Yeah. If the place increases in value, then your share increases, or you can buy out my share. This is not a bad idea. Yeah. It's like a co-op. It's like a co-op. I do like this idea. If you rent a place, you should own equity in the place. And then when they go, hey, we're selling the building, you have to leave, we go, no, we're selling the building. And also, since you own a piece of the property, you can come by and take a dump in the house if you need to, even after you're gone. I'm not letting my investors take dumps in my house. But if I have some equity in the...
By the way, chat, this is how it should just be, period. If you're renting out an apartment, you should own part of it. And you can set it up where everybody who currently lives in an apartment is a part owner of that apartment. And if they decide to leave that apartment, then they're no longer an owner of that apartment. You can do all sorts of programs like that. In fact, that's what they do in Austria. Okay, well, Hasan already unbanned. Let's watch this new North Star Radio video.
There's something really disgusting happening right now. On the Snark subreddit, the top post right now is dedicated to identifying and harassing non-public Teddy Fresh employees. It's on the front page. It has, last I checked, it had 500 upvotes. It's been seen by the mods. And every time we report a post like this, we get punished. We have no recourse. Like, this is not okay what's happening. The reason I bring it up is because in the comments, it's all like, do these people know they work for Zionists? How do these people work for Zionists? And that's part of the reason they're being targeted and part of the harassment they're receiving. This whole thing is connected.
You honestly gave me too much.
The Snark page that's blown up since October 7th, people really didn't give a that much about it before then. But now it's like this vibrant community of people that are obsessed with Zionism for some reason. And a lot comes back to that. I don't know how Reddit allows this. I really don't.
Ever since Ethan Klein began his career-ending crash out all the way back in September 2024, after I released the beautifully aging video, Why the H3 Leftovers podcast will never return, Ethan Klein has been tormented in his sleep by the brilliant words and research of one Greek-Australian man, Bad Empanada.
I do not thank Hasan Piker for a single thing. I thank you, Ethan Klein, for being such a colossal dumbass that me and many others are now making bank off destroying you.
I'm so sorry for not paying attention to your gifties. I'm so sorry for not... Aegis, thank you for the 5 gifted. Who else gifted? Thank you, everybody, for subscribing and resubscribing. Were there any big gifters today? Ghost Dog 99, thank you so much for the 50 bomb. M. Lavina, thank you for the 10 bomb. Thank you, Sussy, for subscribing for 6 months in advance. That's what we're talking about. Reptilian Space Pope, thank you for the 5. Did I miss anybody else? We had Splinker Bell, thank you for the 5. Red Edge Planet, thank you for the 5. All right, I appreciate all of you. I'm sorry if I forgot to thank you. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. You guys are the best.
While also destroying your disgusting Zionist genocide propaganda in the process. Thank you, Ethan Klein. You are my best friend. I'm the puppeteer behind the scenes, and you came after me. And now today, Hasan Piker is spending hours watching my videos on his stream, specifically to attack you. This is what's always going to happen to you, Ethan. If you dare to come after me, I will sick my attack dog, Hasan Piker, on you every time. How dare you, Ethan Klein? I control Hasan Piker.
Bad Empanada is quite the character, and in the past few months has focused his critique of Ethan and Neela Klein
I like my feeling of Bad Empanada is he is a gadfly, and we need that. I may disagree with something. He may like get a little overheated sometimes, and sometimes he beats up people on our side for small deviations. But overall, we need gadflies like Bad Empanada. I'm a Bad Empanada supporter. What the fuck is a gadfly? I just remember that when people ask me questions like that, I remember not all of you were blessed with a public school education, so you weren't as well read as I was. A gadfly is an annoying person, especially one who provokes others into action by criticism. So basically, they're a person who's like annoying, but they're right, and they make you do shit because like they're annoyingly criticizing you, but they're fucking right. Think of like a big horsefly that like bites you. You like have to get rid of that motherfucker. That's what we mean usually when we're talking about gadflies. Did you check out his community post of Turco? Oh yeah. I saw the Hasan Bad Empanada discussion. I think Bad Empanada's being a maximalist, and I don't think Hasan. I get his critique. His critique makes perfect sense to me, but I think he's being a bit maximalist in the sense of with normies, we can't. The one thing that Bad Empanada doesn't value is normies, which I understand. I get that. But I think that you have to provide a funnel. You have to provide an entry. And I think he underestimates the value of that, which is fine.
And the relationship with the state of Israel and its ongoing genocide. More specific.
You know, one of the things I like about you the most is you never miss an opportunity to glaze yourself. I was being sarcastic. You know, like I went to public schools my entire life. I went to public universities. So everything that I learned, I feel like other people could have learned. You know what I mean?
Specifically, Neela Klein's relationship, going out of his way to explain to his audience how Neela Klein is technically a terrorist.
We are going to be investigating whether, by the standards used by Ethan Klein, international governments, and the State of Israel, Ethan Klein's wife and co-host of H3H3 Productions is a terrorist. We're going to apply the standards that Ethan Klein has been applying to someone else to call him a terrorist, the guy who goes by Rashid.
Now, Neela was not amused by this characterization.
I'm being called the IDF terrorist is what I am. Like, are we really not going to differentiate it anymore what's a terrorist and what's not? Because if we can't have, like, words that we can all agree on, how are we ever going to talk about anything?
In a strange turn of events, Ethan understood why some people would consider the IDF to be a terrorist group. However, he made the brutal mistake of saying that in front of his IDF terrorist wife.
Well, listen, they can call Israeli soldiers terrorists, but like you weren't a soldier. That like it's not. We don't even go that far.
I mean, I think even calling soldiers terrorists is not accurate, especially me. That was just secretary. Okay, let's say that.
I can see why they would.
Didn't she say that she volunteered volunteered to do a raid in the occupied territories of the West Bank, where Israel is illegally occupying for the last fucking 50 years? Like, what are you talking about? Did she call Ramallah a terrorist city? And she did it because she was bored. Like, can you imagine if somebody said, yeah, I did the I participated on October 7th because I was bored. What they would call that person?
However, Ethan doesn't consider his wife a terrorist because she wasn't a soldier. She was a secretary.
But like, you weren't a soldier. You were.
Even I wasn't like a combat.
No, you were a secretary. Like, you did menial work. You were forced to do it.
A secretary for the head of an.
I know Ethan Klein is fucking stupid, and it's a point that I probably shouldn't make, but she admitted on stream to Ethan that she wanted to transfer out of doing secretarial work to get some excitement. Like, he's pretending like she was a secretary, but she told him that she went on this raid to his face. If you're gonna lie, Ethan, don't lie so easily and in such an easily debunked fashion.
Illegal military base in the illegally occupied West Bank of Palestine, where she participated in a raid where innocent Palestinian boys were taken hostage, but sure, not a terrorist. It's honestly quite amusing seeing how offended and disgusted Hila seems to be after being called a terrorist, especially considering how haphazardly these two lovebirds throw around the word terrorist whenever they see a brown kid with a gun.
It made me think of this tweet from our wonderful Houthi pirate, the cute Houthi pirate that Hasan interviewed. This Houthi pirate, who are you kidding? This guy's a terrorists.
My officers and like the soldiers in that brigade, they would go every night on a raid in Ramallah to arrest terrorists.
Now, Hila Klein is quite literally a terrorist, or at least was at one point in time, if you understand anything about Israel's illegal occupation of the West Bank.
If someone was conscripted into ISIS, for example, and forced to do logistics and administrative work for them, I do not believe for a second that these people would say that person was not a terrorist. I don't believe for a second they would say they were not responsible for their actions.
However, in the most recent episode of the H3 podcast, Ethan Klein may have allegedly committed a crime so dangerous he too may have earned the distinction of terrorist. On H3 show 116, Ethan Klein was up to his usual antics, beefing with random commenters on Instagram, this time under a photo of Hila Klein, showing off her new Blue Star of David tattoo.
Oh yeah, just to be really exciting and fun way to start the show. Have you showed this on the show that you got the Star of David
Not
tattoo?
yet. Today is my first time. The comments were very interesting. We got lots of mixed reviews.
Oh, it looks like a lot of the nice people took over.
Mixed reviews meaning like normal people and racist people.
It's actually interesting that the nice comments seem to have taken over because it was all just like in straight Nazi shit.
I feel like it depends who's logged in. Like,
yeah. This is why people think
weird.
We remove comments, because there will be a negative 1 second and then the other second it'll be just good stuff.
Because
this time I was like, I'm not going to remove any comments because I want people to see the shit show. So I let everything happen.
Psychotically searching for real accounts with public profiles to dox, Ethan
they do it. She admitted that she does remove comments then. He was trying to claim that they don't remove comments, and then she immediately said, well, I normally do, but this time I didn't. They couldn't get their talking point straight.
Finally found his victim, Joe Redacted.
You and Hila have beyond disappointed me. I used to love y'all. Once again, reminder, it's a Star of David.
Yeah.
That's just a Jewish symbol. That's like a cross for the Christians. A symbol of barbarism. Why do you enjoy Palestinians? Get a swastika tattoo next, Queen. It'll go great with the Zio star. Zio, by the way, you'll start seeing leftists enjoying saying this is a Nazi origin slur. I don't think there would be anything wrong with your, quote, Jewish pride if, in this historical moment, you are equally vocal about being against what is being done in Gaza, because you and Ethan have become quiet about this issue and hyper proud to be Jewish at this moment in history is what's problematic. You're actually a massive racist fool.
Yeah.
You don't know anything. You're a giant hypocrite. You're a bigot. And you need to just fucking you need to log off. It's just, I don't even know what to tell you.
You gotta log off. It is a private account. They always are.
Matching swastika adjacent tattoos. Man, I'm being obsessed with you guys when you only had 15K subs. Glad that's behind me. Enjoy hell. This guy's for real. Joe, look this guy up. Enjoy hell. He said enjoy hell.
Yeah. No, I mean, they think I'm actually the devil.
I feel like this one's real.
It's kind of interesting to get a tattoo because that's forbidden in Orthodox Jewish practice. Kind of so it's almost like it's not really, it's more of a nationalist symbol when she did that. That's kind of interesting. And it seems like she picked the blue that is similar to the blue on the Israeli flag, or the line color. So I think is she trying to evoke the Israeli flag there? It's more of like a nationalist tattoo than a religious tattoo. Are they religious? Do they practice like Judaism? Do they keep kosher, or do they go to synagogue, or like even like a Reconstructionist or Reform synagogue? Because I do remember them mocking Orthodox Jews when they were in Israel, and they were really anti-Semitic, and they called them smelly and stuff. I don't know. It's kind of odd. I don't know.
Public-facing account.
Joe.
I see you. You wanted to be cute. Let's see it. Nice mustache. Strong entry. Not exactly the Esteban, but
Dan is such a little bitch. I'm so glad I was so right about Dan. Dan is such a little bitch. I was the first person to call him a little bitch. Giggling along as they like target some random guy on Instagram with their rapidly dwindling audience.
It's not. Oh yeah.
Yes, it's a real guy.
Him because he's not showing up for me.
So this is Joe.
God, he never stopped coughing, dude. He's gonna like. What is wrong with his lungs? He's always coughing. And it's always wet, too. It's not like an unproductive cough. There's always snot or fucking phlegm in it. Jesus Christ.
He left a message on Hila's Star David tattoo. He said, "I'm glad that phase is behind me. Enjoy hell," Joe said. On Star David, here he is. If anyone, let's see if I know, can identify him at all. I think it's this guy.
No.
That's Joe.
Look anything like him.
No, no, it is. Here, let me show you. That's him.
Oh.
That's him right there. Trust me, when I see an anti-Semite, I know I can spot him.
Wow. Spot him from a crowd.
That's him. So I don't know if you guys all know that, but your friend Joe here actually is a giant racist piece of shit. And like he likes to tell Jewish people they're going to hell on Instagram on his public profile. I don't know if any of you guys know him, but certainly anyone who would employ him, or probably even his parents, would be pretty disappointed to see that. Although who knows? Here's his mom. I'm not going to click that for her. No, you know what?
Here's his mom. Psychotic behavior. Psychotic behavior. Look at how wide his eyes are.
This is what you... Here's your mom. I wonder if she knows what you do on social media on your free time. You love your mama. Good thing she's not Jewish, hey, Joe? I love it. I love it. So anyway, best of luck to you out there, Joe. I don't know who you are, but you're a fucking ass. And shame on you.
Ethan is clearly insinuating that he wants his audience of rabid Zionists to go harass this guy and his entire family. And that's exactly what happened.
Awesome life update, guys. I'm officially beefing with H3H3. I got on Instagram for the first time in like a year, and I saw they were at the top of my feed being Zionist douchebags, and I called them out for it. I just said some shit like, can't believe I used to look up to you guys, rotten hell or whatever. And then I get off Instagram because I'm never on there. And then my friend sends me a screenshot of my 4th of July party thing from 5 years ago. On the H3 stream, he stalked my page and sent his fans on a witch hunt to comment and berate my family and stuff on Instagram. Super cool stuff. Honestly, it changed my mind. I think Zionism is good now because you sent your millions of fans to harass me and my family. You fucking loser. Vape Nash, y'all.
This person on Instagram being praised in the DMs for their harassment of Joe Redacted. Proud of you. In an army of foot soldiers, you're the Ela Kleiner hit woman, a powerful asset. Then they reply, I definitely DM'd his mom, dad, and sister too. Ha ha ha. Don't say shit online if you don't want it coming back around. Then going on to defend her actions by saying, those of you coming from the Nazi profile, all upset because I told him to die, can also die. The world has no room for Nazis, and I'll gladly wish death on you and your family. Wait until this person realizes what Israel is doing to Palestinians. I'm sure there are many more examples, but Joe Redacted privated his account, so this is all I was able to find. But it's a pretty clear representation of the damage Ethan can cause with his platform.
Strawberries. That sounds like a familiar name to me. That sounds like a familiar name. I want to say I've seen her before.
He started getting messages.
They have no shooters. They have no fucking shooters. It's the same, like 5 people. Hold on, let me just find them.
Saying, You're going to be really sorry. You're being doxxed. Say goodbye to your mother. This was obviously what they wanted to happen. Your mother deserves hell. You're going to get killed. What a lovely name, from pastels and strawberries. What a really lovely community Ethan Klein has fostered.
Nothing that Joe Redacted said was Nazi coded in any way. He simply told your mother deserves hell.
Did they delete their account? Did they delete their account on Reddit? Oh, wait, hold on. I think I found it. Hold on. Maybe not. Okay. Hold on. Okay, it's a brand new account. It's a brand new account from January 23rd, 2024. So it's 1 year old. Never mind. So it's not brand new. Damn.
Hell.
Nothing interesting in the
You're going
account.
to get killed. What a lovely name, from pastels and strawberries. What a really lovely community Ethan Klein has fostered.
Nothing that Joe Redacted said was Nazi coded in any way. He simply told them to go to hell after getting a blue Star of David tattoo. The Star of David has already become a controversial symbol because of Israel's disgusting appropriation of it for war crimes, but especially a blue Star of David, which is literally representative of Israel. Getting an Israel tattoo 18 months into this genocide is absolutely disgusting. Imagine what Ethan would say if someone got the Russian flag tattooed on them after the invasion of Ukraine. So where does the terrorism angle come into play? Well, after Ethan exposed the mother of this random Instagram commenter, the school she works at allegedly received a bomb threat.
One last update on the H3 situation. His fans called in a bomb threat at the school that my mother teaches at, which in all reality was very merciful of them, considering what Zionists usually do to schools with bombs.
Okay, obviously Joe is making a joke about Israel. Very funny, Joe. That was very intelligent. Funnier than anything Ethan's ever said. I highly doubt any bomb threat was made, but this should be a lesson for Ethan and honestly for YouTube. Do you really want to be responsible for having this?
Yeah, the reason why I doubt a bomb threat was made is because Ethan Klein doesn't have any shooters. Right, it would have to be like either a Groiper or someone, you know, like a DGGer to do it for him. Like, I don't think he has any like fans of his own that would actually do something like that. It's just people that have used him to try to boost their own hatred of Hasan, right? Which is like Groipers and Destiny viewers I've seen as the people. They are the people that are more likely to actually go in and try to like intervene in this fight. Based on my experience, right? Like Ethan Klein fans like are not really, they're kind of like, they're dopey. You know what I mean? They're dopey.
Man on your platform after the inevitable bomb threat is actually deployed by his rabid audience? Every day, this man spends hours putting a microscope up to random people online who criticize him, encouraging the harassment of that person. And not even for the things they say. Rather, Ethan manipulates their words and paints them as some sort of racist Nazi coming after Ethan for his ethnicity rather than the insane genocide justification he participates in on a daily basis. Oh, and by the way, Ethan is proud of doing what can only be described as stochastic terrorism. This is what he posted on the first day of Ramadan. My only regret is not finding more accounts to call out. I tried. This was the only person dumb enough to leave anti-Semitic hate comments from his real public account. And remember, the only thing this guy ever said was that he regrets ever being a fan of them and told them to enjoy hell. Now, if this type of racism was aimed at a different group, this scumbag would have crawled into a hole.
This is Conservatism 101, which was like, I can't believe you're being racist against white people. If you were being racist against black people, more people would care. This is conservative cry bullying 101. Ethan Klein is just going to be an outright Trump supporter within the next 4 years. There's no fucking way he's going to continue this grift of pretending to be progressive. Same thing with Destiny. And when they're both Republicans, I will have won. I will have be declared the victory. I will have declared complete victory over you, Ethan and Destiny. Read this guy's messages. Oh, I'm excited. It seems like we're fine with the Star of David. Why wouldn't we be? I mean, I think the main problem is a lot of people have been disgusted the way that Israel has like, for example, carved Star of Davids into innocent Palestinian prisoners. The way they have like destroyed cemeteries and used tanks to make like Star of David tracks. the way that they have, you know, kind of celebrated and used the Star of David, not as a sign of a religion, but rather of a nationalist project to celebrate war crimes. And I think that's where a lot of people are reacting to. And this is the reason why so many people have said that Israel's war crimes being associated with Jewish people builds anti-Semitism. Because when you let Israel get away with saying they represent all Jewish people when they clearly don't, they just represent a single country, that then encourages blowback on regular Jewish people that have nothing to do with what Israel is doing. Innocent people. And that's what we're fighting against. We're fighting against anti-Semitism here.
Somewhere, too humiliated to show his face on social media again. But because I'm Jewish, he gets to cry about it on TikTok and be a hero and a victim. Here is a suggestion for next time. Don't tell people they are going to hell for getting a Star of David tattoo and you shouldn't have anything to worry about. They are also lying about the bomb threat. Get f***ed, scumbag. F*** around and find out. Oh, so now a joke is actually a lie. Now he can't see the humor in it. Because last time I checked, when Ethan told his entire audience that I sent dick pics to one of his crew members, that wasn't lying, that was just a joke. Even though people in my personal life reached out to me to make sure that wasn't true.
He played victim. Let me DM love my picture of my cock. Hey, AB, don't you hate yourself? You're a self-hating harem, dude. Anyway, he continued to play victim. Can I get a fucking job, please? Can I get a job? 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 Love, I sent you a picture of my cock. Can you send one back?
That supposed joke by Ethan caused real harm in my life. But now Ethan doesn't seem to understand humor. Funny how that works. Anyone who is a fan of this channel should in no way try to communicate with Ethan or get...
AB is like cowardly as well. I mean, you know, it's really the only way to put it. Like, I'm sorry, but like working for these scumbags at this point is just unconscionable.
Give him any attention. I'm making this video as a critique of his actions, not as a means to harass him and his family. Ethan Klein uses his platform to slander and attempt to deplatform supporters of Palestine. He's made that his brand for the past 6 months.
And he's failed. In fact, he's given us all even bigger platform. He failed completely.
Thank you for watching NSR. Ramadan Mubarak. Peace and love. Free Palestine.
Well, chat, honestly, I feel a little bit tired from yesterday's 9-hour stream. So I'm going to send you guys, gals, non-binary pals over to VO early as I can. Thank you so much for all the support. You guys are the best. I really do love all of you. I want to chill for a bit. But thank you for helping me milk the Hasanabi ban. I really do appreciate it. The thing to remember is that I'm live every day at 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. So if you need that morning political stream before Majority Report, before Hasan, before whoever else, I am here for you. So come hang out, hit that follow button if you're not already following. Here's all my links. My Blue Sky, the YouTube channel, my Twitter, the Discord, the TikTok. Make sure you hit the follow on all those things. We're nearing 10K in the Discord, so come hang out. And I'll see you all soon. Will I be here later for the Trump talk? I will probably be in Hasan's chat, honestly. All right, everybody, stay safe out there. Solidarity forever. Free Palestine, baby.
Stand up, all victims of oppression, for the tyrants fear your might. Don't cling so hard to your possessions, for you have nothing if you have no rights. So come, brothers and sisters, for the struggle carries on. Listening to Mike from PA unites the world in song. So come, come and rally, for this is the time and place. Join the Central Committee and unite the human race. end of capitalism. We must set Luigi free. Demand that healthcare be provided, as well as housing and food security. We'll build high-speed rails and revolutions with heads of billionaires and solidarity. Through this struggle we'll carry on. Our gifts up to Central Committee is one step closer to righting the wrong.